the Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Sources tell ABC News the cyclosporiasis outbreak that's made thousands of people sick has been linked to tainted iceberg lettuce from one supplier that was sold at Taco Bell locations in 5 states. Taco Bell says that lettuce has been replaced in its supply chain. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Joel Kameyer says
every day it's an additional 500 to 600 cases per day. And so we're waiting to see if this is the end and whether we have, some light at the end of the tunnel.
President Trump, in a 24-minute speech to the nation last night focused on election security, said that newly declassified documents show foreign attempts to interfere with U.S. elections. He was calling on Congress to pass tighter voting rules ahead of November's midterms. Flash flooding in the Texas Hill Country has killed at least 2 people, and Governor Greg Abbott said more than 200 have been rescued. This is the same part of the state where flooding killed more than 24 last July. This is ABC News. A White House teleprompter operator is under investigation. He allegedly used inside information to make money betting on President Trump's speeches, says ABC's Aaron Katersky.
Sources tell ABC News Gabriel Perez used his inside knowledge to place bets and win more than $100,000 in the prediction market Kalshi. Sources tell us Perez bet on more than a dozen Trump speeches, including this year's State of the Union, through Kalshi's mentions market, where users wager on whether certain words and phrases will be said. President Trump is famous for going off script. Sources tell us Perez sometimes pulled bets mid-speech when Trump skipped words that were in the teleprompter.
Sources tell ABC News Perez in talks with federal regulators to settle the charges. He's not expected to face criminal charges. SpaceX aborted the launch of its massive Starship rocket seconds before liftoff Thursday. SpaceX founder Elon Musk said some engines failed to ignite. I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
It is 6:02, and right now it's sunny, a few clouds, and 74 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Brian Feldman. A former Congresswoman's conduct being looked into by the Missouri Attorney General.
That is a PAC that I cannot speak to as a candidate.
Responding to a post on X of Bush declining to address questionable payments to herself from her PACs, Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says, quote, very concerning. We are looking into this. The questionable payments, according to public records, Bush's political action committees, Politivus Action PAC and Politivus LPAC, have paid tens of thousands of dollars to Cori Bush and her husband, Courtney Merritt, since Bush left office in January of 2025. Questionable payments to Bush's husband has been the subject of prior investigations. During her time in Congress, Bush was investigated for regular campaign payments made to her husband for security purposes. One of those investigations would be dismissed by the Office of Congressional Ethics. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
In a separate case, Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says a Ray County prosecutor is now suspended amidst attempts to have her removed from office. Camille Johnston, accused of having romantic relationships with people connected to cases in her own office, including with a criminal defense attorney with active cases before her and with a man being prosecuted for sexual assault in Ray County. Prosecutors say Johnston gave that man her car to help him get away.
Johnston, a Republican, also accused of intimidating her staff. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says all this conduct represents a sustained betrayal of public trust. A judge approved Johnston's immediate suspension pending the outcome of the case.
The Metro East SWAT team responded early Thursday to an incident in the 600 block of Leonard in Alton that ended with 2 dead. Dakota Ingram lives a few doors down and says after a body was discovered by Alton PD, the scene intensified.
Just after 5 a.m., they appeared to have recovered a body from the property. Shortly thereafter, they announced that the individual inside was under arrest and that they had a warrant to enter the premises. They needed them to come out, hands up.
The SWAT team eventually breached the home by having an armored vehicle pull the front wall down. Then there was a shootout with the SWAT team. The suspect died apparently of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, according to the Alton Police Department, and that suspect has not been publicly identified.
Some breaking news from North St. Louis. City police say they found a woman's body overnight in the O'Fallon neighborhood. It was discovered around 145 on East Lee Avenue. No word yet on what may have led up to her death. The spokesperson says the woman likely in her 40s.
Senator Hawley is accusing the U.S. Postal Service of stonewalling his investigation into Missouri mail delivery problems. We get more from KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
Hawley sent a new letter this week saying the Postmaster General has produced no documents since his June 30th request, and he's now demanding answers about a consulting firm the Postal Service quietly hired to help, in the Postmaster's words, plan for all scenarios. Hawley says it's hard to justify paying a New York restructuring firm while executives collect bonuses and Missourians are not getting their mail. He wants answers by July 24th.
2 East St. Louis residents face charges for allegedly trying to rob a Metro East bank on Monday. Shiloh police say 39-year-old Javaris Reese and 31-year-old Aisha White accused of concealing their identities while trying to get a clerk at Commerce Bank on Greenmount Crossing Drive to give them cash.
They reportedly fled without getting any money, St. Clair County prosecutors charging Reese and White with bank robbery and attempted bank robbery. A petition was filed to hold them in jail until trial.
Some say advisory ballot questions don't mean much, but a majority of Madison County board members feel differently.
A wide majority voted Wednesday night to place 3 such questions on the November 3rd ballot, saying it's a good way to let Springfield know what their constituents think about state matters. Board Chair Chris Slusser.
Let's just say one of these passes with 85% of the vote. You know, that our legislators locally have to be like, no matter what party they're in, they have to be like, okay, this is something everybody wants. I need to be a champion for this in Springfield.
One question involves property tax reform and how Illinois funds public schools. A second would move toward Illinois requiring IDs to vote. And the third involves local control of solar farm placement. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
A celebration at Tower Grove Park to celebrate the completion of 3 major milestones: an event support building with a Rockwell beer garden, bathrooms, and a bike repair station, the director's croquet garden, and the restoration of 4 historic pavilions in the park.
Greater St. Louis Inc.'s Sarah Arnosky-Coe says the improvements help the neighborhood, businesses, and the whole region.
Because these improvements not only serve the park visitors, but also the broader regional bike network. The event support building and Rockwell Beer Garden and the bike station all create an important trailhead or finish line, depending on where you start and end, for the Tower Grove connector that Bill mentioned.
Mayor Kara Spencer helped tap the inaugural keg at the new Rockwell Beer Garden on Thursday and admitted she's not used to having a beer in the morning. The improvements at Tower Grove Park, part of a $20 million Common Ground campaign.
It is 6:07. We'll take a break and come back with a look at your ride-in this morning and the weather as we head into the weekend. This is Total Information AM on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
It's 6:10, so let's check our morning commute this Friday morning with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things look great out there so far this morning, Brian. The only issue I have right now is a one-vehicle accident. I don't even know if it's a crash, but a car left the highway, went down the grassy embankment, just sort of down alongside the highway up against the guardrail. So it's certainly not blocking anything, but they did call out EMS. In fact, here the EMS come right now. It's eastbound 70 west of Cave Springs. So I think they'll probably pull up on the shoulder. I'll watch it right now, but no delays currently on eastbound 70 up to that point. And eastbound 70, everything's back to normal. Roadwork's been picked up out west, so everything's looking great on 70 between David Hochul and Wentzville Parkways, both directions. No longer an issue there. And in the rest of the construction zones, things are light and on the go so far for you this morning as well. Well, it does look like looks like they're moving all onto the shoulder here, eastbound 70 before Cave Springs. Maybe the right lane partially blocked, so just pay attention as you come around the bend from 370. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today will bring clouds and sun along with a spotty thunderstorm, mainly for the afternoon and evening. It'll be quite humid with a high of 90. Still warm and humid, low 76 tonight, then sun and some clouds. Still very humid, high 92 tomorrow. Wildfire smoke can reduce air quality and cause haziness with a high of 90 on Sunday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have sunshine and 74 degrees downtown.
I'm Joe Pott. We'll hear from Edward Leuven following City's win last night. That's coming up in sports.
The news continues at 6:11. We've learned a few more details about Thursday afternoon's fatal crash on northbound 255 in St. Clair County. Illinois State Police say a southbound vehicle crossed the median and struck another car head-on. It happened just before 3 o'clock on a stretch of 255 near I-64 in East St. Louis. Troopers say the driver of the wrong-way vehicle killed. The other driver suffered lesser injuries.
A Florissant man accused of shooting up a high school homecoming after party in St. Louis 3 years ago will spend the next 30 years in prison. A circuit judge sentenced 21-year-old Xavier Royal on Thursday. 3 months ago, a jury found Royal guilty of second-degree murder, robbery, assault, and armed criminal action. City police say Royal and two others fired guns during a robbery at the party held inside an Airbnb on South Compton. Co-defendant Orlando Bernard has already been sentenced to 19 years in prison.
St. Louis Public Schools pushing back the reopening of their central office after Legionella bacteria found in parts of the building's water and cooling systems. It was supposed to reopen Monday. Now it'll be a phased reopening starting August 3rd. The building has undergone sanitizing and testing.
At least 34 states have reported cases of parasitic illness that causes severe diarrhea. Kansas City pharmacist Sayo Weiss says while the illness can last for weeks, patients may be able to get some relief.
There are actually several treatments available, and so it's something that can be treated if tested and appropriately identified.
Investigators are looking at tainted lettuce and prepackaged salad greens as the source of the cyclosporiasis outbreak.
New hope for people with high cholesterol levels that won't come down with your typical statin drugs. KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer reports.
The FDA has approved a new pill that slashes cholesterol levels far below what can be achieved with statins. The pill will be marketed under the brand name Lipfendra. It blocks a liver protein called PCSK9, which limits the body's ability to clear bad cholesterol. Fox News senior medical analyst Dr. Mark Siegel says this is the oral version of previously injectable and more expensive versions of the drug.
The injectable drug called Repatha or Praluent, that's a monoclonal antibody that targets that protein. Get it out of the way. We don't want that cholesterol. Get that cholesterol taken up. Merck has now come out with a pill, which is a peptide version that I think is going to get more people to take it because of ease of use.
One of the few drawbacks, though, it must be taken on an empty stomach. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Missouri Task Force 1, having just responded to the flooding along the Black River in Missouri, is now heading to San Antonio, Texas. 45 trained members, along with more than 100,000 pounds of specialized rescue equipment, are heading to flooded communities. The task force is based in Boone County, Missouri, and is one of 28 federal urban search and rescue task forces.
It was a successful return to play for St. Louis City last night at Energizer Park. After City went up 2-0, Sporting KC came back to tie the game 2-2 in the second half. Edward Leuven buried a penalty kick in the 86th minute, and City held on for the 3-2 winner. After the game, Leuven said that in the end, the win is what matters.
Yeah, I think we made it hard on ourselves. It was unnecessary, and I'm not speaking only about how we conceded the second goal. We all take ownership for that. We want to play out. This is something that happens. We take that on the chin, but I think it starts like even before that. The first goal shouldn't happen. We should go for the third one and just finish strong and just close up the game instead of conceding the first one. Then it's 2-1. Then we should still score the third one because Kansas was not in the game. They didn't really have chances. I think we were better. We were the better team tonight. And then at the end of the day, it's 2-2, and now we have to chase a win. But all of that being said, in the end of the day, we got the 3 points, and that's all that matters tonight.
That audio courtesy of the team. City plays Wednesday at LA Galaxy. The Cardinals return from the All-Star break tonight as they open a 3-game series with the Arizona Diamondbacks in Phoenix. It's the start of a 6-game trip that will take them through Anaheim, and it's the start of a stretch of 20 consecutive games for the Redbirds. They come home for a makeup game with the Diamondbacks. Then they've got series with the Reds and the Cubs before they go back on the road for Toronto and the Yankees. The Cardinals don't have an off day until August 6th. Cardinals open the proverbial second half, 50-45. That's 8.5 games back of the Brewers in the National League Central and just 1 game out of a wild card spot in the National League. It's Michael McGreevy to make the start tonight for the Cards. He's 4-7 overall with a 3.01 earned run average. He's 1-1 with a 2.19 ERA in 2 July starts. Tonight will be his first appearance against the Diamondbacks in his career. Merrill Kelly goes for the Diamondbacks. He's 7-8 with a 5.38 ERA. He gave up 3 runs in 6 innings in a loss to the Cards on June 22nd at Busch Stadium. He's made 9 career starts against the Cardinals and is 4-2 with a 3.33 earned run average. First pitch tonight, 8:40 Central Time. That means Ameren Total Access gets underway at 7:45. And for those planning, the Cardinals announced their 2027 season schedule yesterday. That slate opens in Cincinnati March 25th. That's the earliest traditional opening day in Major League history. The home opener, it's set for April 1st against the Kansas City Royals. Next sports update is 6:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
I'm Dr. Colleen Bosler with the Audiology Center, and I'm talking with my associate, Dr. Adam Voss. What happens to a person's brain when they ignore their hearing loss?
There is such a strong connection between the ear and the brain. Ignoring your hearing loss can cause the brain to become lazy and the speech areas in the brain to shrink. This is partially why you can hear the words, but you cannot understand them. If a hearing loss goes untreated for too long, it may cause an irreversible change in the brain. It is incredibly important to have your hearing screened at 60 or older, or sooner if you're noticing difficulty. And the sooner someone treats their hearing loss, the better and quicker their brain will adapt to hearing sound again. Studies show that those who get hearing aids, even with a mild hearing loss, are much more successful hearing aid users as compared to those that wait longer.
So call us today to get your comprehensive hearing evaluation with one of our doctors. 636-441-7470, or visit us online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:20 on Total Information AM. Let's say good morning to Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it is a good morning out there so far this morning, Brian. This traffic reports the service of Scott Credit Union. That crash I mentioned eastbound 70 before Cave Springs, they had the right lane partially blocked. It was a car that went down the grassy embankment up against the guardrail. Didn't look bad, and it looks like the emergency crews are already back in service. That lane's back open. There is a brief backup, though, or at least a heavy slowdown on eastbound 70 as you come through 370. Again, this car off the roadway is west of Cave Springs. So building a little more volume on the highways, but it still doesn't look bad overall. The rest of these interstates, even in the work zones, look great. We do have one other, again, minor crash, and again, this one's reportedly off the roadway as well. A dump truck went off the roadway reportedly northbound 21 just south of 141. I don't see any problems in the area so far. There's just a little slowdown northbound 21 there, but again, they did send EMS for that one as well. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Think buying a home is out of reach? Think again. Scott Credit Union has down payment options as low as zero money down. Your new home could be closer than you think. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
The weather today is going to be clouds and sunshine. It's going to be hot and humid with a high of 90. A thunderstorm in spots, mainly this afternoon and this evening. Then still very humid tomorrow with more sun than clouds and a high of 92. It is 74 and mostly sunny right now.
The news continues at 6:22. In his address Thursday night, President Trump announced documents will now be available on the White House website that he says demonstrates the interference of foreign adversaries, including China, in U.S. elections.
U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China.
The president invoked the deep state as the movement behind the suppression, he alleged. However, widespread voter fraud theories have been disproven by the courts and members of the Republican Party, as well as the first Trump administration.
AP correspondent Charles De Ledesma reports the U.S. struck bridges and collapsed a tower at a key port in Iran.
The Trump administration has expanded its airstrike campaign against Iran by hitting more bridges, electrical equipment, and collapsing a tower at a key Iranian port. The highway and railway bridge strikes appeared aimed at cutting off Bandar Abbas, Iran's main port, from roads leading into the Islamic Republic's central region onward to Tehran, the capital. While other routes are still open, the US strikes could expand further, potentially disrupting both the movement of military material and goods needed for Iran's 90 million people. The US aim is to pressure Tehran to ease its chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz. I'm Charles De Ledesma.
House Republicans pushing a $95 billion budget resolution package that's focused on boosting defense election reform rules and aiding farmers. Professor Justin Wolfers, an economist at the University of Michigan, explains why the farming industry has been added to this push.
When it comes to tariffs, these folks are often the focus of retaliatory actions where other countries will stop buying our goods as a way of getting back at the United States.
Wolfers says another issue farmers are facing, the loss of labor. With massive deportations and fewer migrants, it's added to the cost of running their farms.
When Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce tied the knot earlier this month, St. Louis native Joe Buck found himself right in the middle of a star-studded crowd.
The Monday Night Football announcer attended the highly secretive Madison Square Garden ceremony. Buck tells Fox 2 he was stunned. He even got an invite, let alone the seating assignment he was handed.
I sat next to Scarlett Johansson, in front of Brad Pitt, behind Hugh Grant, and 3 rows behind Paul McCartney and Tom Hanks. at the actual wedding.
Buck joked his famously large head made him so easy to spot in the crowd, even prompting Kelsey to come up at the reception and tell him they made eye contact multiple times during the ceremony. That's not awkward.
Thursday marked the debut of a local soccer team made up of Special Olympians and their unified teammates. Fox 2's Brian Ledford reports they showed strength, determination, and excitement.
The rules are easy to follow.
All right, let's have some fun. Come on.
More directly,
Miles, let's have some fun.
a game plan that needs little direction.
You ready?
Yep. These awesome athletes certainly are. Meet St. Louis City's SC's first official Special Olympics team, City Unified, who held their inaugural game on their home pitch.
We have unified players, which are players without disabilities, and then we have Special Olympics players to play alongside with them.
Assembled just 8 weeks ago, the football faction and familiar Red Kits took on their cross-state rival from KC, with the goal of making soccer accessible and inclusive.
I love how it puts life in perspective. It kind of just shows me that life's not that serious, and you can have fun doing the simple things in life.
Today marked a major milestone for this local.
This is my biggest dream I ever wanted to do ever since I was a little girl, and I'm glad I'm here.
All was on target for the opening frame until Mother Nature's downpour resulted in a damper. During the rain delay, the locker room stayed loose and limber with fancy footwork. And after 90 minutes, a return to action, a cause for joyful reaction.
It's really fun because I finally have something new, something that can change my life forever. It's really cool.
The way they interact with people, the way they want to improve, they want to strive to be better.
The score didn't matter. Life lessons were the takeaway.
They shouldn't be treated differently. They should have every opportunity that anyone else has, and we all are the same.
A man in Arizona lived undetected in the Tonto National Forest for nearly a decade, creating a massive illegal campsite filled with a half-ton of trash. 65-year-old Mark Gatz admitted to living in the forest for 8 years, violating the 14-day camping limit. U.S. Forest Service officers shocked by the scale of the encampment and the amount of debris, including clothing, tools, tires, and more. Gatz arrested for multiple violations.
It is now 6:27. The Time Check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
We are on the biggest stage in the world right now, and you know I am talking about soccer. The whole world is paying attention, and FanDuel has decided to change the game. And as you know, if you bet soccer, that sometimes your player gets subbed out, and then what happens? Your bet goes with them. Well, FanDuel says we have a better way to do it. That's not happening anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues with the substitute. So you are still in it until the final whistle. Just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started now. I've been telling you about this app for many, many months. I love using it. It's easy to use. All the information you need is right there. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at Amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. it could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
It is now 6:30. We do have sunshine in downtown St. Louis. It's 74 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Brian Feldman. And this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the highways look great out there right now, folks. So you're getting a little busier, but the problems are vehicles off the roadway. We have that one that's still off the roadway up against the guardrail, so obviously it's not blocking anything. That's the one eastbound 70 before Cave Springs, about midway between 370 and Cave Springs. The other one was a dump truck that said it's in the median, but again, off the roadway in the grass. That's northbound 21 just before 141. I'm just seeing a delay at the 141 exit right now on northbound 21, but the through lanes look fine. And another vehicle off the roadway, they called out EMS. They're on the scene now. So I'm assuming the right lane's blocked. I can't see it in the traffic, but it's northbound 270, a vehicle off the roadway just before Manchester. So traffic's slow, but it's not even midway back to Doherty Ferry as of right now. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a hot, humid day today with sun and clouds, a high of 90, maybe a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon and evening. No storms forecasted for tomorrow, just sun and clouds, hot and humid, 92. It's 74 right now.
It's 6:32. St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer says the city suing a company over what she calls a predatory housing scheme. The lawsuit targets Bustling Funding LLC and accuses it of running what's known as a slow flip operation, promising low-income tenants eventual home ownership in exchange for paying rent and making repairs, but then evicting them when they can't keep up.
The Metro East SWAT team responded to a home in Alton Thursday after getting reports of gunfire.
That's the scene outside a home on the 600 block of Leonard Street, where the Metro East SWAT team found themselves in a shootout with their suspect. Dakota Ingram lives a few doors down and saw how the SWAT team breached through the front wall of the home.
Used the battering ram on the Bearcat to rip the entire front wall and porch off of the home. And shortly thereafter, the suspect inside decided to start exchanging fire with the officers.
Alton police have said in a statement the suspect died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Another victim was found deceased inside the home, also from a gunshot wound. Ingram says he believes he saw that body removed before law enforcement engaged with the suspect. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Missouri's new 5-year transportation plan includes major interstate improvements, but MoDOT says rural communities will also see significant investment. Assistant Chief Engineer Mark Krorkin highlights some of those projects.
Route 160 over Bull Shoals would be one of those rural projects. That's a large lake bridge, and that's in our program to replace that bridge. I don't know if you would consider Interstate 229 in St. Joe rural. That's an aging bridge, and the plan there is to put that road back on the ground.
The new plan maps out $13 billion in transportation projects and maintenance work statewide through 2031.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 6:34.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Taking care of yourself should fit into your life, not complicated. Neovitin Original Formula is a complete daily multivitamin designed to support your everyday wellness routine with essential vitamins, minerals, and a natural ingredient blend, all in just 2 daily tablets. Subscribe online at neovitin.com neovitin.com for monthly delivery or shop Neovitin at your local Schnucks and Dearborn. Neovitin Original Formula is physician formulated to fit easily into your everyday routine. All of our vitamins are manufactured in a certified GMP facility in the USA. Neovitin, make nutrition easy.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
At 6:35, time now for your Money Report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Honda is ending sales of electric vehicles in the U.S. The automaker informing dealers that production of the Honda Prologue will end later this year. The company instead will prioritize hybrid and internal combustion engine models. Honda's sales have been powered by strong demand for hybrid versions of its best-selling CR-V SUV. Honda will continue to sell EVs in other global markets. Checking on the markets, tech is dragging stock futures lower this morning. Meanwhile, Netflix is also weighing on sentiment. Shares are dropping in the early trade after forecasting a second consecutive quarter of slowing sales growth. Investors are worried that the leader in streaming may be losing momentum. And it's getting harder to access your airline lounge. As lounges fill up with travelers, airlines are cracking down. Some are opening bigger lounges to handle the crowds, while others are raising prices, tightening access, and creating exclusive VIP spaces for their highest-paying customers. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, nope, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It is now 6:39, and you are listening to Total Information
Tick
AM.
removal. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health.
It's that time of year again. Here's ABC News correspondent Melissa O'Don.
Some ticks can spread disease. If you find one attached to your skin, the CDC recommends these steps. First, remove it right away. Use tweezers or your fingers. Grab the tick as close to the skin as you can. Pull straight out with steady pressure. Do not twist or squeeze it. If part of the tick stays in the skin, leave it. Your skin will heal. Get rid of the tick by sealing it in a sealed container, wrapping it in tape, putting it in alcohol, or flushing it down the toilet. Do not crush it. After that, wash your hands and the bite area with soap and water or alcohol. And don't forget to check your body for more ticks. Your next steps depend on how long the tick was attached and where you live, since ticks in some areas are more likely to carry infections. Use the CDC.gov's Tick Bite Guide to help decide what to do. If you get a rash or fever in the next weeks, call your doctor right away.
With 60 seconds to better health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
It's 6:40. Let's check out our morning commute on this Friday, June 17th from Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
That's not bad in general out there so far this morning, Brian. This traffic reports a service of I-3 broadband. We do have delays northbound 270. I'll call it Big Bend up to Manchester. That's where we had a vehicle off the roadway. 3 vehicle off the roadway incidents this morning. That's the most recent one. They had EMS on the scene. I can't tell if the right lane, which would be the exit lane to Manchester, is still blocked or not. But like I said, it's slow back at Big Bend. The other vehicle, the first one to go off the roadway, was eastbound 70 west of Cave Springs. That one's in the grass up against the guardrail. And the dump truck in the grass, reportedly in the median, northbound 21 just before 141. There are no delays on those last 2 runs, 70 at Cave Springs and 21. They both look great. Eastbound 30 up the hill from Mauer to 270. You've got some heavy traffic there. Otherwise, the rest of these interstates are quiet so far. With the kids home for the summer, your house is a digital zoo of streaming and gaming. Switch to i3 Broadband and upgrade your summer. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 1-866-806-5485 to upgrade today, because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 6:41. We have some sunshine in downtown St. Louis. That's always nice to see. What does the weekend have in store? Our AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire has the details.
And really, the details not bad at all. As you said, looking pretty good at the moment. Fairly bright right now, but as we go through the day, there will be some intervals of clouds at times as well. We're going to head up to about 90 degrees. It's not going to be oppressively humid, but fairly typically so for this time of year. We can also have a thunderstorm around. I think the best chance of that is this afternoon and this evening. Then it's just warm and humid with some clouds overnight. We'll drop down to 76. More sun than clouds with a high of 92 tomorrow. Still very humid, but looks dry. Then we'll have a stray afternoon thunderstorm on Sunday. It'll be partly sunny and humid with a high near 90. This is the day that I think we most have to be concerned that wildfire smoke can reduce air quality for a time and cause a hazy sky. Conditions should improve for Monday then. Hot and humid, partly sunny with an afternoon thunderstorm. Temperatures ramping up to 96 in the afternoon, and we could hit 97 with an afternoon thunderstorm or 2 on Tuesday. 74 in St. Peter's right now, 75 in Florissant, 76 downtown at the Arch. From the Salika Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm Joe Putt. I'll tell you who's hot as the Cards get set to resume play in Arizona. That's coming up in sports.
The news continues at 6:43. The Federal Reserve's most recent Beige Book report shows consumer spending mixed through the 4th of July holiday. That's according to economist Charles Gaskin at the St. Louis Fed office.
Auto sales were relatively weak. And then at the purchasing of stores, at the grocery store or general retail, people are kind of sticking to their list and buying, the necessities and kind of cutting back on some of those discretionary purchases.
Gaskin also says the hospitality and tourism industries got a boost from last-minute travelers as high gas prices dipped a bit.
Commercial air service to 3 downstate Illinois cities could be on the chopping block, and it could have an impact on Lambert Airport in St. Louis. President Trump's budget would cut $372 million from the Essential Air Service program, which pays airlines to fly routes to smaller communities that otherwise would not have commercial service. Decatur, Marion, and Quincy each depend on the program, and Quincy currently splits its subsidized flights between O'Hare and Lambert. Other smaller Missouri communities also use EAS routes through Lambert. Marion is actually actually about to upgrade its service. American Airlines takes over August 1st with a larger plane, but without the federal subsidy, the airport director says no airline would bother. Nearly 180 communities nationwide are in the same position, according to Capital News Illinois. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
For the first time, Illinois regulators could get real teeth to fight back against skyrocketing auto insurance rates. A reform bill heading to the governor's desk will force providers to justify their prices before passing them on to drivers. Secretary of State Alexi Giannulli spearheaded the effort, pointing out a glaring double standard in the current state law.
Think about that. Illinois law requires every driver to have insurance, but we had almost no safeguards in place to ensure that those rates were fair. That left consumers with no real watchdog and no real recourse when premiums skyrocketed.
Under the new law, companies will also be banned from using out-of-state disaster losses as an excuse to raise rates on Illinois residents. The reforms would officially kick in next summer.
Who's Hot is sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. Michael McGreevy will make the start tonight as the Cards come out of the All-Star break to open a 3-game series at the Arizona Diamondbacks.
A 2-strike pitch to him, a swing and a miss. He couldn't hold up on the high fastball. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 3 in the game for McGreevy.
McGreevy's been strong all year, and he's been particularly consistent lately. He's coming off a 6 1/3 inning outing against the Brewers, in which he allowed just a single run July 8th at Busch Stadium. He's 1-1 in July with a 2.19 earned run average. In 7 starts since the beginning of June, McGreevy has gone at least 6 innings in 6 of those starts. And while he's just 1-3 in those 7 starts, he has a 3.05 earned run average, and he's fanned 23 hitters while walking just 8. Tonight will be Michael McGreevy's first career appearance against Arizona. Merrill Kelly will go for Arizona. Kelly's 7-8 with a 5.38 ERA. He gave up 3 runs in 6 innings in a loss to the Cards on June 22nd at Busch Stadium. He's made 9 career starts against the Redbirds. He's 4-2 with a 3.33 ERA. First pitch tonight set for 8:40 Central Time. Ameren Total Access gets underway at 7:45. St. Louis City resumed MLS play following a World Cup break, and Jen Cease was there.
St. Louis City SC opened the second half of the MLS season with a 3-2 win over rival Sporting Kansas City Thursday night at Energizer Park. City built a 2-goal lead in the first half with goals from Sang-Bin Yong and Marcel Hartl. Sporting KC answered twice, but after Simon Betcher drew a late SKC handball, Edward Leuven buried the game-winning penalty in the 86th minute. Head coach Juan Demey says after nearly 7 weeks away from league play, the result was the most important thing.
Restarting after 2 months for break, so today we're on the good end of it. The game wasn't perfect. We were able to grind that result, so that's all that matters to the group right now. It gives us the boost of confidence by getting the result, but at the same time, it keeps us on our toes in terms of us being more consistent with our performance.
With Ben Lunton goal again, Demey says Roman Berkey's late return from injury has left him just short of full match fitness. The club wants to make sure Berkey's ready for a full 90 before he's back in the lineup. City's back on the road Wednesday night against LA Galaxy. Pre-game coverage begins at 9 p.m. on Y98 before a 9:30 kickoff. With the City Spotlight, I'm Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
Well, the St. Louis Blues, along with the National Hockey League, unveiled its 2026-27 schedule yesterday. The schedule opens October 2nd, and the Blues will start with back-to-back games at Dallas and Colorado. They'll also go to Chicago to face the Blackhawks before opening the home season October 8th against the San Jose Sharks. The home schedule includes 22 weekend home games at Enterprise Center, and the schedule expands from 82 to 84 games for the first time in 26-27. The Blues will play 2 additional division games. They'll continue to play 24 games against the Pacific Division and a home-and-home set with each team in the Eastern Conference. Next sports update is 7:15. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's Tom Ackerman for St. Louis Composting. Composting is very important. Soil is very important. Mulch is very important. For your yard, soil with 5% or more organic matter is the gold standard. It creates better structure. It locks in nutrients. It dramatically improves water retention. Now's the perfect time for a full landscape cleanup. Add compost to your garden beds to prep for planting season. And mulch. Refresh your entire landscape with a fresh layer of mulch in your flower beds and around your trees. It's the fastest way to make your yard pop with a beautiful, well-kept look. How do you do all of that? You just go to stlcompost.com. They have a menu of everything you could possibly want or need. They even have a material calculator at stlcompost.com to figure out exactly how much soil or mulch your project requires. 9 retail locations all over the area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
Let's take a break.
Good idea.
Hey, Tom, what are you doing on that Amendment 4?
You know we fought for our freedom and rights. I'm not giving them away without a fight.
4 takes them?
That's exactly what 4 does. For over 100 years, Missouri voters have used our constitutional power to act when the politicians refused. I'll be darned if I'm voting to pass on less freedom and power to my kids.
And doesn't 4 kill majority rule?
Yep, creates minority rule, where just 5% of statewide voters in one district can block any citizen-led reform, making it nearly impossible to pass citizen-led ballot measures.
That's just dumb.
And when the politicians refuse to act, we've used citizen-led ballot measures to pass some big stuff, like lobbyist reforms, term limits for career politicians, and outlawing tax hikes without voter approval.
I'm not surrendering my power and rights to a bunch of politicians and lobbyists. I'm no on Amendment 4.
Hard no on 4.
Pay 4 buttons every inch, prepare governance.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now the news at 1 The Fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:50 and you are listening to Total Information AM. Let's get you the latest on your Friday commute. I'd grab the sunglasses on your way out the door if I were you. It's a sunny morning out there. Roger Brand joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Not too slow, though, thankfully, Debbie, with just one main exception, really. This traffic reports the service of Steve Butts and the entire Crawford Butts family. That would be northbound 270. That vehicle off the roadway crash that they call out EMS for. They're on the right shoulder now, but North 270 is bogged down from Big Bend all the way up to Manchester. If you're headed up through the Mid-County area, Kirkwood to Pear, Town and Country, just be prepared for those delays. Also seeing a little bit of a delay. Not as bad, though. Northbound 55 right through McNutt. It's kind of heavy in that construction zone. The rest of the work zones, seeing a little delay on the Illinois side on eastbound 5570, approaching 111 in that work zone, but westbound 5570 from 255 to 203 remains on the move for you so far. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, Steve Butts and everyone at Crawford Butts Insurance wish everyone a safe and joyful summer. Proudly serving the community for generations. Happy 250th, America. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Heather Zaire says it's going to be humid and possibly a little bit rainy and with some thunderstorms later today. Intervals of cloud and sunshine, that thunderstorm in spots across the region. So not everywhere, but just be careful. Mainly this afternoon and evening is when that would occur. Very, very humid, though, high of 90 degrees. Tonight, some clouds, warm and humid again, low of 76. Tomorrow, very humid once more sun than clouds, high of 92. And then on Sunday, partly sunny, humid, a stray thunderstorm in the afternoon. Wildfire smoke could reduce the air quality and cause a hazy sky. Again, high near 90 degrees. Right now, we have sunny skies and 76 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:52. 2 East St. Louis residents are facing charges for allegedly trying to rob a Metro East bank Monday. Shiloh police say 39-year-old Javaris Reese and 31-year-old Aisha White are accused of concealing their identities while trying to get a clerk at Commerce Bank on Greenmount Crossing Drive to give them cash. They reportedly fled without getting any money. St. Clair County prosecutors are charging Reese and White with bank robbery and attempted bank robbery. A petition was filed to hold them in jail until trial.
A St. Louis man facing charges after allegedly abandoning a baby in the road and leading police on a chase.
36-year-old Christopher Pearson is accused of abandoning a child in the middle of Natural Bridge and Goodfellow. According to charging documents, Pearson was seen by witnesses leaving the child in a car seat before driving away in his Tesla. Pearson was later spotted by law enforcement while driving and attempting to flee. When he turned down a dead-end road, he drove through a fenced-in yard before coming to a complete stop. He was spotted tossing a pistol from the vehicle, with 2 more found inside. Pearson faces 1 count of endangering the welfare of a child and 1 count of resisting arrest. Police say the baby is unharmed, but did not give Pearson's reasoning for abandoning it. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A Ferguson man is sentenced to 20 years for stabbing his mother to death 4 years ago. Anton Pate took a murder second-degree plea deal. Police say the 33-year-old had gotten into a fight with his mother and stabbed her multiple times while family members tried to intervene, even shooting Pate to try to stop him.
New questions this morning about the ICE officer involved in the deadly shooting of a man during a traffic stop in Maine earlier this week. The Associated Press reporting relatives of the officer who opened fire say he has a history of mental health issues and violent behavior. More from ABC's Karen Waugh.
25-year-old Johan Sebastian Guerrero of Colombia was killed. Officials say Guerrero was not a target of the investigation, but they say he tried to flee the scene, and the officer fired his weapon, fearing for public safety. ICE says the officer involved has nearly a decade of federal law enforcement experience.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Celebrity birthdays on this June 17th include country singer Luke Bryan is 49 years old. Happy birthday, hockey player Connor Bedard is 20. Happy birthday, TV actor David Hasselhoff is 73 today. And happy birthday to TV actress Billie Lourd. She is 33.
The birthday shout-out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Happy birthday, Rachel Adams from Grandma and Grandpa Adams. Happy 52nd birthday, Laura Crescioni from Sean, Mason, Luke, and Drew. Birthday wishes from the Spring family going out to Janie Bean and Trisha Todd from Marianne. Happy birthday, Kevin Adams from Mom and Dad, Jane Brennan Alves, Janice Vernier, Barbara Murray, all celebrating. So are Richard Callow, Brian Murphy, Joe Bomarito, Brian Etling, and Vicky Comiskey from all your fans of the Gustine Market.
This is the best birthday ever.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight discussing sarcomas with Dr. Angela Herbie.
In small groups of patients, there is an inherited genetic risk, but this is the vast minority of patients. And we typically identify these groups of individuals because of numerous family members having these rare cancers, and many of them being young. When I say young, anybody under the age of 40.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
In a county full of slick politicians, one man never got the memo. Jake Zimmerman. He may not be cool, but as county assessor, Zimmerman delivered. Here's Jake.
I stopped casinos taking money from our schools and cracked down on wealthy developers dodging taxes.
The St. Louis American called his office a model of respectful competence. And the Post-Dispatch just endorsed Zimmerman in his campaign for county executive for his pledge to take the drama out of county government. As county executive, he'll make life more affordable and stand up to MAGA's attacks on our rights.
I'm not flashy, but I get results, and I've got your back.
Then there's Brian Williams. Williams voted with MAGA Republicans to open the door to extreme abortion bans, and now MAGA is bankrolling Williams with $150,000 in donations. Brian Williams and MAGA can't be trusted. Jake Zimmerman is on our side. Paid for by Citizens for Jake Zimmerman. Jeannie Kirkton, Treasurer.
6:58. Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Oh, we're doing pretty well on a Friday, Brian. We still have our delays on northbound 270, though. I'll call it north of Big Bend now, but it's about the same. Going up the Big Bend up to Manchester Heavy, that's where a vehicle left the roadway. We've had 3 vehicles off the roadway. First one was eastbound 70 west of Cave Springs. That one was still up against the guardrail. And a dump truck in the median northbound 21 south of 141. Those last 2 not causing any delays, thankfully. And that's the only interstate delay we have. It's thinned out 55 coming through McNutt. Next update is 710 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, it is Friday. It is July 17th. I'm Debbie Monterey.
A former U.S. Congresswoman from Missouri could be facing new investigations. I'm Sean Malone with that story coming up.
Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
Essential airline service to 3 downstate Illinois communities could be on the chopping block. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire. A thunderstorm in spots today is mostly in the afternoon and evening. Otherwise, very humid, some sun, and a high of 90.
I'm Joe Pott with the All-Star break now behind them. The Cardinals are back at it tonight as they open a 3-game set at Arizona. More details coming up in sports.
We've got news at the top of the hour. Stay with us here on KMOX.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Another day of potentially unhealthy air quality for tens of millions because of the smoke from wildfires in Canada. The Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic could be affected. On Thursday, Minneapolis at a time had the worst air quality of any city in the world. In Maine, Lily Farrell with the State Department of Environmental Protection says,
if it is impacting visibility and you can smell smoke, then do take those health precautions, like staying indoors, exercising less exertion.
President Trump, in a speech last night, alleged foreign countries have access to U.S. election data, but there's no evidence that any election outcomes have been affected. He used the speech to urge passage of his bill that would increase restrictions around voting. Health inspectors believe that shredded lettuce may be the source of the cyclosporiasis outbreak that has sickened thousands of people around the country. This is ABC News. The summer travel season has been a busy one at national parks, and trails are packed at Yosemite. ABC's Will Reeves says many travelers have learned that firsthand.
Hikers squeezing past each other down a steep and packed cliffside at the popular Mist Trail, carefully navigating narrow staircases while lines inch past each other in both directions.
Like an amusement park, there's just people everywhere.
Hiker Mobeen Zarakari.
I did witness a lot of people slipping on the trail, actually, and I think some people got hurt.
And it's not just the trails. Tree-lined roads lined with cars. In Yosemite Village, visitors say finding a parking space can take nearly an hour.
The National Transportation Safety Board says last year's tourist helicopter crash in New York City was likely caused by a bird strike after more than 2,000 pages were released. It's not the final report, but it shows the helicopter with a family from Spain on board struck birds before crashing into the Hudson River. I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
At 7:02, we have mostly sunny skies and 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, July 17th. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
And I'm Debbie Monterey. One person was killed, another injured during a crash on westbound 44 overnight in Kirkwood. It happened around 12:30 this morning near the Sappington exit. Investigators say a tractor trailer and a car collided. The westbound lanes of the interstate were closed for nearly 4 hours.
Attorney General Catherine Hanaway has her eye on a former St. Louis congressional representative.
That is a PAC that I cannot speak to as a candidate.
In a post on X, Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says she is looking into former Congresswoman Cori Bush in reference to questionable payments made by her political action committees. Those payments, tens of thousands of dollars from her political action committees, the Politivus Action PAC and Politivus LPAC, to former Congresswoman Bush and her husband Courtney Merritt, according to publicly available filings. Payments to Merritt is nothing new for the Bush campaign. He has been paid as Bush's security guard for years, dating back to before their 2023 marriage. Bush was cleared by the Office of Congressional Ethics on one of the investigations into the payments to Merritt in the fall of 2023. Bush is running to regain her old seat from Congressman Wesley Bell, who defeated her in the primary race 2 years ago. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A Florissant man accused of shooting up a high school homecoming after party in St. Louis 3 years ago will spend the next 30 years in prison. A circuit judge sentenced 21-year-old Xavier Royal on Thursday.
3 months ago, a jury found Royal guilty of second-degree murder, robbery, assault, and armed criminal action. City police say Royal and 2 others fired guns during a robbery at the party held inside an Airbnb on South Compton. Co-defendant Orlando Bernard already has been sentenced to 19 years in prison.
A plan to fill in an old flooded rock quarry in Limay is drawing some major pushback. A company called Fillworks wants a permit to fill the abandoned site near Mount Olive Road with construction debris and dirt. The developer says they just want to safely restore the land.
But residents fear the newly formed company secretly preparing the site for a massive new housing subdivision. State Rep Michael Burton told the County Planning Commission the developer has not provided enough information.
I first want to be very clear. I'm not opposed to development in Limay, but I am unequivocally opposed to this proposal in its current opaque form. This is a large proposal and a project of this magnitude involving a 300-foot deep pit on a 29-acre plot of land, and significant industrial activity requires a thorough, evidence-based review. Yet, as it stands, the developer's application is strikingly incomplete.
27 people spoke against the project, while only 2 voiced support. The Planning Commission takes up the issue again next month.
Illinois drivers could soon see a shift in how their car insurance bills are calculated. A reform bill now on Governor Pritzker's desk gives state regulators the power to reject excessive rate hikes. Secretary of State Alexei Janulius championed the legislation, saying the new rules target a system that punishes people for things that have nothing to do with their actual driving.
Too often, insurance companies have been relying on factors unrelated to how safely someone drives, things like their zip code, their credit score, and their age to determine what they pay, essentially stacking the deck against Illinois drivers, especially those who lived in less affluent communities.
The legislation also forces companies to give a 30-day warning before raising a premium by more than 10%. The new rules will take effect next July.
Lambert and O'Hare airports are 2 connection points for a lot of tiny Midwestern cities for now.
3 downstate Illinois airports that connect their communities to the national air system could lose commercial service under the president's latest budget proposal. The plan calls for cutting $372 million from the Essential Air Service program, which subsidizes flights to smaller cities that airlines would not otherwise fly to. Decatur, Marion, and Quincy all rely on the program. Quincy currently splits its federally subsidized flights between O'Hare and Lambert, and other smaller Missouri communities also depend on EAS routes through Lambert. The director of Marion's Airport tells Capital News Illinois that without the program, getting to southern Illinois by air would mean a long drive from Missouri or neighboring states. Congress still has to act on the proposal, and the outcome is far from decided. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Hall of Fame broadcaster Joe Buck is packing his bags for the Rocky Mountains. Buck tells Fox 2 he is relocating from St. Louis to Denver, the hometown of his wife, Michelle. The move marks a major life change for the play-by-play veteran, who has called the Gateway City home since birth. Despite the change of scenery, Buck insists he won't be a stranger.
I'm a St. Louisan, and I'm going to be a St. Louisan living in Denver, but coming back to St. Louis a lot to see family and friends. And I think it'll be nourishing, to use a corny word, for my soul.
Buck says the cooler summer weather and outdoor activities in Colorado will be a great change of pace for his 8-year-old twin boys.
Traffic and weather next. It's 7:07.
Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Laterman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Laterman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Laterman Law Firm at latermanlaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. The wait is over. The displays are now open at the Reserve in West County, a prime location at Manchester and Highway 109. The Reserve is an outstanding community with serpentine streets, extensive trails, and our own neighborhood park with a pavilion, gazebos, playgrounds, and more. Come tour our popular Hamilton Ranch or our luxurious Turnberry story and a half. Visit McKelveyHomes.com. It's time to move up to McKelvey.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is now 7:10. I was going to say 7:20. Don't want to get you late today. It is 7:10. And this is Friday, the 17th of July. Roger Brand is joining us. He has your report from the roads in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, the only real place we have delays this Friday morning is North 270. Continues to be heavy. North 270 from, I guess we'll call it north of Big Bend. It's still backed up Doherty Ferry up the hill to Manchester. They do have a flatbed tow truck now on the scene. So once again, the right lane is closed. North 270 before Manchester. That was a car that left the roadway. That's the only problems we've had this morning. Vehicles off the roadway. That one out there eastbound 70 before Cave Springs up against the guardrail not blocking, and a dump truck in the grassy median northbound 21 just south of 141 as well. But again, at those two locations, there are no delays. Other than that, North 270 backup, though, it looks great even in the work zones on both sides of the river. Everything continues to roll along for you so far on this Friday morning. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be a hot, humid day with a mix of sun and clouds. We could see a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon and this evening. Again, the high today, 90, tomorrow 92 with sun and clouds. It's sunny right now in downtown St. Louis and 75 degrees.
Well, City came back last night. The Cardinals return tonight. I'll tell you about both straight ahead in sports.
The news continues at 7:11. St. Louis City Police say they found a woman's body overnight in the O'Fallon neighborhood. It was discovered around 1:45 on East Lee Avenue. They believe she was in her late 40s. No word yet on what may have led to her death.
A St. Louis organization taking a new approach to try to decrease violence in the city. The group Show Me Peace will be driving a bus to neighborhoods across the city 5 days a week, offering on-site counseling and support. Organizers believe bringing mental health resources directly to the community will reduce violence by addressing trauma and its underlying causes.
They broke ground on the project less than a year ago, but yesterday at Tower Grove Park, they cut the ribbon on the brand new Event Support Center. Park Director Bill Reiniger says it provides critical infrastructure of park operations, events, and guest services. It includes new bathrooms.
And a new beer garden, which we'll partake here in a few minutes. It also serves as a trailhead for the Tower Grove Connector. There's a director's croquet garden. It's a beautiful gathering space that honors the park's long tradition of recreation and community engagement.
Mayor Kara Spencer, who attended the groundbreaking, said it's the first project she's been able to see from start to finish as mayor.
I will have to say this 10 a.m. beer start time is a new one for me, and I'm always happy to try new things.
The event also celebrated the restoration of 4 historic pavilions in the park that date back more than 150 years. Tower Grove Park has raised more than $20 million as part of their Common Ground campaign.
St. Louis City residents, or St. Louis City, I should say, is taking aim at a home flipping firm that targets low-income residents. The city filing suit against a company called Bustling Funding LLC, accusing it of convincing tenants to move into unsafe properties by promising them eventual ownership, but then evicting them when repairs or rent become unmanageable for the renter. Mayor Spencer says she won't tolerate the practice. She wants a court to force the company to get occupancy permits before putting anyone in its homes.
You'll be able to explore the stars in real time when the planetarium reopens at the Science Center Saturday. Being a hybrid planetarium is unique. Manager Will Snyder explains.
We combine two different systems that work in harmony. We have that optomechanical projector, the Godo Chiron 3, that gives you those beautiful pinpoint starry sky. But then along with it, we have that Digistar system. Some places might have just one or the other, but it is more uncommon to see them working in tandem together to be able to give the best of both worlds.
Snyder tells KMOX he hopes the system feels both familiar and brand new at the same time.
Coming up in the news at 7:22, we have a feature on some Special Olympics soccer players hitting the big time here in St. Louis with City SC's team colors. So stick around for that. But I know we've got more soccer news for you coming up right now from Joe Pott. It is 7:14.
In fact, I do have soccer news, and it was a successful return to MLS play for St. Louis City last night at Energizer Park. After City went up 2-0, Sporting KC came back to equal the match. They tied it 2-2 late in the second half, but even later, Edward Leuven buried a penalty kick in the 86th minute, and City held on for the 3-2 winner. After the game, Leuven said in the end, it was the win that mattered.
Yeah, I think we made it hard on ourselves. It was unnecessary, and I'm not speaking only about how we conceded the second goal. We all take ownership for that. We want to play out. This is something that happens. We take that on the chin, but I think it starts like even before that. The first goal shouldn't happen. We should go for the third one and just finish strong and just close up the game instead of conceding the first one. Then it's 2-1. Then we should still score the third one because Kansas was not in the game. They didn't really have chances. I think we were better. We were the better team tonight. And then at the end of the day, it's 2-2, and now we have to chase a win. But all of that being said, in the end of the day, we got the 3 points, and that's all that matters tonight.
So that is actually 4 wins and a draw from their last 5 MLS matches for St. Louis City. They're on quite the roll, and that started before the World Cup break. Next up for St. Louis City as they will play Wednesday at LA Galaxy. The Cardinals also back. They return tonight from the All-Star break, and they'll open a 3-game series with the Arizona Diamondbacks in Phoenix. Cardinals open the proverbial second half at 50-45. That is virtually identical to where they were at this point last year. But they'll look to improve on a second half that last year saw them go 27-38 after the break. They'll also be looking for a little more of this.
His catcher Contreras, the batter, Walker, a swing and a long drive. Left field, 2-0 Cardinals. Walker jumped on the first pitch, and it's his 21st home run of the year.
Well, of course, after the Home Run Derby Championship, that was a first-inning shot from the Home Run Derby champ during the Cardinals' last homestand. It's also our cut of the game. That's sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. The Redbirds are 8.5 games back of the Brewers in the Central Division. They're just 1 game out of the wild card spot in the National League. Tonight, they'll turn to Michael McGreevy to make the start, 4-7 on the year, and 1-1 with a 2.19 ERA in 2 starts this month. This is going to be his first appearance of his career against the Diamondbacks. Merrill Kelly will go for Arizona tonight. He's 7-8 with a 5.38 ERA. He already has a loss to the Cards this year. That came on June 22nd at Busch Stadium. He's made 9 career starts against the Cards, and he's 4-2 with an 8.33 earned run average in those 9 starts against the Cardinals. First pitch tonight is set for 8:40 Central Time. Ameren Total Access pregame show gets underway at 7:45. And if you'd really like to plan ahead, well, you can do so. The Cards sent out their 2027 schedule yesterday. That will open March 25th in Cincinnati, with the home opener set for April 1st against the Kansas City Royals. Next sports update is 7:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We are on the biggest stage in the world right now, and you know I am talking about soccer. The whole world is paying attention, and FanDuel has decided to change the game. And as you know, if you bet soccer, that sometimes your player gets subbed out, and then what happens? Your bet goes with them. Well, FanDuel says we have a better way to do it. That's not happening anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues with the substitute. So you are still in it until the final whistle. Just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started now. I've been telling you about this app for many, many months. I love using it. It's easy to use. All the information you need is right there. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636-441-7470. Online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
After a disaster, emotional recovery takes time. Show Me Hope Missouri offers free, confidential support wherever you are. Call or text 1-800-985-5990 and connect with a local crisis counselor today. From Missouri Department of Mental Health.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 7:20. Let's check the roadways with Roger Brain and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Brian, they're still working this vehicle left the roadway from earlier this morning, northbound 270, just before the Manchester Road overpass. It went off the roadway into the grassy area, so they had to drag it out. It looks like they've dragged it out over onto the roadway. So the right lane is still closed while they deal with it, northbound 270 just before Manchester. So that's causing a jam back through Big Bend, stop-and-go traffic up through that area on North 270 right now. Other than that, the rest of the highways continue to look pretty good. We have a little bit of a slowdown on eastbound 30 up the hill from Mauer Industrial to Highway 270. 55 looks good down in Festus, headed into the city. 270 both ways at Ladue. That's still on the go. 70 between Warrenton and Wentzville. There are no roadwork delays. And even on the Illinois side, just a little slowdown on eastbound 5570 right now, east of 203 as you enter that construction area. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we are going to have a thunderstorm in spots, mainly this afternoon and this evening. Otherwise, just sun and clouds, very humid with a high of 90, 76 overnight. Tomorrow's high 92, no rain or storms in the forecast for tomorrow, just sun and clouds. But the chance of a thunderstorm does increase as we head into early next week. If you've been wondering if the smoke from the Canadian wildfires will reach us like it has Chicago, yes, but that'll probably be on Sunday, reducing our air quality and causing hazy skies. Currently, it is 75 degrees.
The news continues at 7:22. President Trump addressed the nation Thursday night, discussing alleged fraud and foreign interference in the 2020 election and pushing it for his Save America election security legislation. The president says the White House declassifying documents that will expose vulnerabilities in election security and cast doubt on the validity of the 2020 election results.
In 2020, Michigan State Police raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization, corrupt group in Muskegon, and we're so concerned by what they found. They were just so concerned, they couldn't believe it actually, that they contacted the FBI in Detroit. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated.
President Trump calling on Congress to pass his Save America Act, which would require providing proof of citizenship and photo ID at the polling place.
Democratic lawmakers reacting to President Trump's address alleging widespread election fraud and critical vulnerabilities in the U.S. election infrastructure.
Hakeem Jeffries, the top Democrat in the House, in a post reacted to the president's address, and he said in part that President Trump is, quote, a conspiracy peddling 80-year-old failed president, in Jeffries' words. And then he goes on to say, quote, the economy is a disaster under this guy and the American people know it. And he closes it with saying, quote, pathetic.
It appears lettuce or salad greens may be a potential source of the cyclosporiasis intestinal illness. During Thursday's White House press briefing, ABC's Karen Travers questioned Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt about the administration's approach.
Are there federal officials on the ground in the hardest hit states right now doing any testing of production facilities or farms to try to figure out where this outbreak has started?
Sure. Well, what I can tell you, having been back at the White House for just a couple of short weeks, I've been in meetings on this very topic, and I can tell you the White House is closely monitoring the situation, has a handle on the situation. We're committed to providing the CDC and the FDA the resources that they need.
Sources tell ABC News the parasite has been traced back to tainted lettuce at Taco Bell locations.
New hope for people with high cholesterol levels that won't come down with a typical statin drug. The FDA has approved a first-of-its-kind pill that can drastically reduce cholesterol.
Marketed under the brand name Lipfendra, this new Merck pill slashes cholesterol levels far below what can be achieved with statins by blocking a liver protein called PCSK9, which limits the body's ability to clear bad cholesterol.
The lower the better, especially if you're at risk for heart disease or if you have heart disease. The lower the better, and that's what cardiologists are starting to think of. And you can take these drugs along with your statin drug.
Fox News senior medical analyst Dr. Mark Siegel says this is the oral version of previously injectable and more expensive versions of the drug.
These are home run drugs. Hooray that we're getting an oral version now.
One of the few drawbacks of the new pill is that it must be taken on an empty stomach. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Thursday marked the debut of a local soccer team made up of Special Olympians and their unified teammates. Fox 2's Brian Ledford reports they showed strength, determination, and excitement.
The rules are easy to follow.
All right, let's have some fun. Come on.
More directly,
Miles, let's have some fun.
a game plan that needs little direction.
You ready?
Yep. These awesome athletes certainly are. Meet St. Louis City's SC's first official Special Olympics team, City Unified, who held their inaugural game on their home pitch.
We have unified players, which are players without disabilities, and then we have Special Olympics players that play alongside with them.
Assembled just 8 weeks ago, the football faction and familiar Red Kits took on their cross-state rival from KC, with the goal of making soccer accessible and inclusive.
I love how it puts life in perspective. It kind of just shows me that life's not that serious, and you can have fun doing the simple things in life.
Today marked a major milestone for this local.
This is my biggest dream I ever wanted to do ever since I was a little girl, and I'm glad I'm here.
All was on target for the opening frame until Mother Nature's downpour resulted in a damper. During the rain delay, the locker room stayed loose and limber with fancy footwork. And after 90 minutes, a return to action, a cause for joyful reaction.
It's really fun because I finally have something new, something that can change my life forever. It's really cool.
The way they interact with people, the way they want to improve, they want to strive to be better.
The score didn't matter. Life lessons were the takeaway.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be treated differently. They should have every opportunity that anyone else has, and we all are the same.
It is now 7:27. The Time Check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For state senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering knows what a hard day's work looks like because he's done it his whole life.
I like Mike. He's a dad. He knows what our families are up against.
Mike Deering's a businessman. He knows what red tape actually costs.
I like Mike because Mike Deering stands with President Trump. Secure the border, cut our taxes, put Missouri first.
I'm Mike Deering. Career politicians spend more and tax more while your family gets squeezed. I'll lower your taxes, keep your money in your pockets, and cut government waste so deep it'll make the politicians squeal.
Mike Deering, farmer, small business owner, dad, conservative. I like Mike.
I like Mike.
I like Mike. For state senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering. On Tuesday, August 4th, vote Republican Mike Deering for state senate. Make common sense conservative leadership common again. Paid for by friends of Mike Deering. Megan Kaiser, treasurer.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. This is a great time to schedule those tuck pointing repairs. When you're out in the yard or on your patio, take a look over your brick, your stone, and your mortar joints on your walls, your chimney, your walkways, and your retaining walls. If they need repair, Morelli Tuck Pointing would love to help. It's a good idea to do that home maintenance before leaks are created or rebuilding is necessary. I've used Morelli Tuck Pointing to repair the brick chimneys, the walkways, and the walls of 2 homes here in St. Louis. The Morelli bids are fair, their crews are super polite, and Morelli cleans the job site. Don't take my word for it. Check out their Google reviews. Winner of the BBB Torch Award and the Next Door Neighbor Fave Award. 35 years in business and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Mirelli. Morelli, 314-645-1387 and MorelliTuckPointing.com.
We often hear the words retirement and annuity used in the same sentence, but it's important to know that not all annuities are the same. If you're not sure, it may be time for an annuity x-ray. Steve All and the team at the All Financial Group can review your annuity. Call Steve at 636-230-8824 and at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
At 7:30, we have mostly sunny skies and 77 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the only place we have a jam currently, folks, is on northbound 270. They continue to work with this vehicle that left the roadway earlier. They still have the right lane closed. It looks like, from my vantage point, that the car is up on the flatbed. I guess they're just securing it. But the right lane's still closed, northbound 270, right before Manchester. So it's a solid jam pretty much from 44 now up to that point. But that is the only jam on these area highways. The only other delay on an interstate is on the Illinois side, a little bit of a roadwork slowdown on eastbound 5570 around 111 and eastbound 70, a little slow at Packers Avenue. Eastbound Highway 30 coming up the hill from Mauer to 270 is slow, but out west 70 looks good coming in from Warrenton. Southbound 61 down on eastbound 6470 clear, and northbound 55 looks great coming up from Festus. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today it's going to be cloudy, some sunshine, possible thunderstorm in spots of the region, mostly in the afternoon and evening, though. Very humid, high of 90 degrees. Tonight, cloudy, warm, and humid, still more. A low of 76. Right now, sunny skies and 77 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The St. Clair County Coroner's Office identified the driver killed in Thursday afternoon's crash on 255 as a Freeburg man. The Belleville News-Democrat reports 36-year-old Casey Watt suffered fatal injuries when his car crossed the median near I-64 in East St. Louis, and his car struck another head-on. Illinois State Police say the other driver suffered lesser injuries.
The Metro East SWAT team responded to a home in Alton Thursday after reports of gunfire.
That's the scene outside a home on the 600 block of Leonard Street, where the Metro East SWAT team found themselves in a shootout with their suspect. Dakota Ingram lives a few doors down and saw how the SWAT team breached through the front wall of the home.
Used the battering ram on the Bearcat to rip the entire front wall and porch off of the home. And shortly thereafter, the suspect inside decided to start exchanging fire with the officers.
Alton police have said in a statement the suspect died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Another victim was found deceased inside the home, also from a gunshot wound. Ingram says he believes he saw that body removed before law enforcement engaged with the suspect. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Alton police have yet to identify the suspect.
Adding more cops is a top priority for the new St. Louis County Police Chief. Juan Cox took over as chief on June 9th. After the former chief retired, Cox says his department has been short about 100 officers for the last couple of years, and he wants to fill those vacancies. He also directly told officers to begin strictly enforcing the county's existing curfew laws for minors, which is 11 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and midnight Friday and Saturday.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Report next at 7:34.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
It is now 7:35. Thanks for tuning in to Total Information AM this morning. I'm Debbie Monterey along with Brian Feldman. We'll get you the latest on traffic and weather in 5 minutes. But first, let's get you your Money Minute. It is sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The people who know their companies best are cashing out. Executives in the U.S. are selling their own stocks at the second fastest pace in more than 20 years. This is a classic red flag to some investors because it suggests people with the most corporate knowledge are concerned about the markets. Corporate insiders sold about 20% more shares in the first half of this year than they did a year ago. A surprise breakthrough from Chinese artificial intelligence startup Moonshot is rippling through global markets, sending AI and semiconductor stocks sharply lower this morning. The company says its new AI model rivals the strongest offerings from OpenAI and Anthropic. And even the best places to work have bad jobs. A new study from Burning Glass finds your career is shaped less by your employer's brand than by the specific job you take. Researchers have found even highly rated companies like Apple and Costco have roles with weak advancement prospects. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the colleges paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
For men over 50, staying healthy shouldn't feel complicated. Neovitin Men's 50 Plus is a doctor-formulated daily multivitamin designed to support everyday wellness with just 2 tablets a day. You can subscribe at neovitin.com for convenient monthly delivery right to your door, or find Neovitin Men's 50 Plus at your local Deerbirds or Schnucks. All Neovitin vitamins are manufactured in a GMP-certified facility in the USA and are designed for real, everyday routines. Make nutrition easy with Neovitin Men's 50 Plus.
When it comes to retirement, it's not just about growing your money, it's about surrounding yourself with people you trust. Jerry Ricken, Heidi Ricken Provost, and the team at Ricken Financial, they focus on income, they help manage risk, and always thinking about your tax strategy. Because at the end of the day, this really is the trust business. Call Ricken Financial for your initial no-cost, no-obligation consultation. 314-207-6211 or online at rickenfinancial.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck, taxed. Your property, taxed. Everything you buy, taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5, paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
740 on Total Information AM. Brian Feldman alongside Debbie Monterey. Joe Pott on sports in just a few minutes. But right now, let's check our morning commute with Roger Brain in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have a big backup on northbound 270, Brian. This traffic reports the service is Steve Butts and the entire Crawford Butts family. We had that earlier stall north 270 before Manchester. They cleared it. They opened the right lane, but now they have the right lane blocked, or maybe the right 2 lanes. Sort of hard to tell from my vantage point for another incident northbound 270 just north of Manchester. So the end result is it's a solid jam on north 270 at 44 most of the way up to Manchester, slow through Manchester. Once you get up north of Manchester, you see those right lanes blocked. You just sort of scoot over. But again, a pretty solid bumper-to-bumper backup. I'm sure it'll continue to improve since the initial incident has been cleared. And it looks like they may have the right lane blocked now of that vehicle that left the roadway, the first one we had this morning, eastbound 70 before Cave Springs. Eastbound 70 is slow from the Spencer Road overpass into that Cave Springs area right now. We're at the peak of the rush hour, but those are the only 2 backups on the Missouri side. And on the Illinois side, the only delay we have is a slowdown on eastbound 5570 right at 203, and it goes about midway into 111 currently. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, Steve Butts and everyone at Crawford Butts Insurance wish everyone a safe and joyful summer. Proudly serving the community for generations, happy 250th, America. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
7:41, time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Heather Zare. It looks really nice out. My daughter, who lives in Chicago, was sending me pictures of how hazy and smoky it is there right now. And I said, no, it's not here, but I guess it's coming, right?
Sadly, we are going to get our turn as well, but not nearly as bad as what she's dealing with in Chicago. Yeah, we are definitely better off there. We're looking at, as you said, really a nice day today, and I think that's going to hold right at the moment. Pretty sunny. Now, we are starting to see a few clouds already beginning to bubble up around the area. We'll see more of that as we go through the day. So we'll call it clouds and sun for the day as a whole as we head up to about 90 degrees. They're going can even be a thunderstorm that pops up in some places. That'll likely be this afternoon into this evening. Overnight, then, we just stay warm and humid with a low of 76. And then we have more sun than clouds for tomorrow. Still very humid with a high of 92. I think we are likely to have a rain-free day as well. Sunday is the day that we have to worry about our turn to have some of this wildfire smoke getting into the area. That would reduce visibility and cause a hazy sky. Otherwise, partly sunny and humid with an afternoon thunderstorm and a high near 90. Hot and humid with some sun on Monday. There'll be a thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon. We're headed up to 96 degrees. At least it does look like the air quality is better again. And then still hot and humid with an afternoon thunderstorm or two. High 97 on Tuesday. 75 in St. Peter's, 77 in Florissant, 77 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cardinals and City both in action. I'll tell you about that in sports.
The news continues at 7:43. One person killed, another injured during a crash on westbound 44 overnight in Kirkwood. Happened around 12:30 Friday morning near the Sappington exit. Investigators say a tractor-trailer and car collided. The westbound lanes of the interstate closed for nearly 4 hours.
It is getting more expensive to get around. Gas prices approaching a nationwide average of $4 a gallon. Diesel back up to $5 a gallon. Experts point to both the U.S. conflict with Iran and Ukrainian attacks on Russian energy facilities. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
In total, a new estimate from Moody's Analytics finds that the typical American household has now spent $620 extra in gas, diesel, and jet fuel expenses in the nearly 5 months since the start of the Iran war. Of course, this comes on top of years of stubbornly high prices for other everyday essentials, groceries, housing, and utilities.
The White House was said to be keeping score of which TV networks carried President Donald Trump's Thursday night speech alive and which networks did not.
President Donald Trump blasted the broadcast and cable networks that decided not to carry his speech Thursday night. Trump claims those networks know how corrupt the voter system is, and he says they don't want to reveal it.
They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses.
In the hours leading up to the speech, news operations weighed delivering the news and broadcasting potential falsehoods about the 2020 elections and Trump's claim that the election was stolen. CNN, NBC, and ABC chose not to carry Trump's speech live. CBS, Fox News, and MS Now aired at least part of the speech live. Donna Warder, Washington.
Some Pillsbury rolls could be a danger to anyone eating them. ABC's Sophie Flay has more.
More than 700,000 Pillsbury dinner rolls are being recalled because they could contain glass. The rolls were distributed in 18 states from California to New York. They were marketed to businesses like bakeries and delis rather than individual consumers.
St. Louis City back on the pitch last night at Energizer Park and on the scoreboard in the first.
Miller tries to clear it, partially blocked by Edelman. Goes to Totland, swings it, challenge around Cleveland. Oh! And a bicycle on the ground! How about that? Sang Bin! What a finish at the back post! 27-14! City leads!
Joey Zanaboni on the call right there. Marcel Hartle made it 2-0 in the first half. Sporting KC got one back before halftime, and then they tied it in the second.
St. Louis gets a drop ball back in our end. 75-47. St. Louis City up by one. Ben Loon, bad distribution, picked off top of the 18. Joveljic makes a move. He slots it and scores. Oh, no. Joveljic, how many times have we said it? A late goal against City, and suddenly it's 2-2 as we get into the 77th minute at Energizer Park.
Even later now, and they're looking at it, a possible foul in the box.
After review, number 23 handles the ball in the penalty area. Final decision to penalty.
Let's go to the spot, baby. Leuven a few paces behind the ball, slightly back and to the left. Edward. Right foot. He got it, baby! Rolls it in, sends the keeper the wrong way. 85-07, Edward Leuven. City leads!
That's how it finishes. All 3 points to City last night. They'll be at LA Galaxy Wednesday for a 9:30 Central Time start. The Cardinals are back tonight as they open a 3-game set with the Arizona Diamondbacks in Phoenix. They're 50-45 at the break, 8.5 games back of the Brewers in the National League Central, and 1 game out of a wild card spot in the National League. Tonight it is Michael McGreevy, 4-7. With a 3.01 earned run average, and he is up against the Diamondbacks right-hander Merrill Kelly. Kelly is 7-8 with a 5.38 ERA. Already has a loss on his ledger to the Cardinals. Gave up 3 runs in 6 innings on June 22nd to take that loss at Busch Stadium. First pitch tonight is set for 8:40 Central Time. Ameren Total Access gets underway at 7:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:50, let's check the roadways with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's been a pretty good Friday morning, Brian. The focal point has been North 270. We had a vehicle off the roadway south of Manchester, and then we had an incident north of Manchester. They both have been cleared. The right lanes open now north of Manchester as well. North 270 is still heavy in pockets, though, from 44 up to Manchester. Then you get back on track both directions. 270 at Ladue look great. Still seeing a little slowdown eastbound 370, or eastbound 70 rather, from the Spencer Road overpass to 370. We had that incident where another vehicle had gone off the roadway earlier this morning before Cave Springs, so it's just leftover volume there. Also see a little bit of a delay northbound 55 from between the Joachim Creek and Highway Z and Peevely. And on the Illinois side, starting to get more of a backup on eastbound 5570 approaching 203, and that goes about midway into a 111. The westbound side still clear, and eastbound 70 just a little crowded past Packers Avenue. Otherwise, the rest of these interstates continue to be light and on the go for you this Friday morning. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Hey, it is going to be hot today, and we may see a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon or maybe this evening. Otherwise, it's just going to be clouds and sunshine, a high of 90, 92 tomorrow. Pretty much the same as today, but without the thunderstorm chances. It is sunny and 75 degrees.
The news continues at 7:51. Hundreds of wildfires burning in Minnesota and parts of Canada, again making the air potentially dangerous across several U.S. states. ABC's Sophie Flay has the story.
The FAA slowing arrivals into Philadelphia's airport, pilots seeing ash in the air. Milwaukee reporting its worst air quality on record. In Toledo, Ohio, readings topped 800. anything over 300 is considered hazardous. When the air quality index tops 200, experts advise everyone to wear a mask.
More aviation-related news.
Commercial air service to 3 downstate Illinois cities could be on the chopping block, and it could have an impact on Lambert Airport in St. Louis. President Trump's budget would cut $372 million from the Essential Air Service program, which pays airlines to fly routes to smaller communities that otherwise would not have commercial service. Decatur, Marion, and Quincy each depend on the program, and Quincy currently splits its subsidized flights between O'Hare and Lambert. Other smaller Missouri communities also use EAS routes through Lambert. Marion is actually about to upgrade its service. American Airlines takes over August 1st with a larger plane, but without the federal subsidy, the airport director says no airline would bother. Nearly 180 communities nationwide are in the same position, according to Capital News Illinois. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Some Metro East voters will be asked in November to send a message to Illinois leaders in Springfield. The Madison County Board voted Wednesday night to place a public advisory question on the ballot regarding the reliance of property taxes on education funding.
Board Chair Chris Slusser blames former Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan, who was a tax appeal attorney by trade.
He has a direct incentive to maintain a really unfair situation because he made a lot of money on property tax appeals. So they're artificially high. He comes in, gets your property taxes reduced, your assessment reduced, and he gets a cut of the difference.
Madison County voters will also be asked if they think showing a government-issued ID should be necessary to vote in Illinois, and if the state should give local government more control over solar and wind farm placement.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway trying to remove a county prosecutor from office. Hanaway filing to oust Ray County prosecutor Camille Johnston, accusing her of a pattern of misconduct that includes romantic relationships with a defense attorney who had cases before her office, with a prospective defendant, and with a man she was actively prosecuting for sexual assault.
In that last case, Johnston allegedly signed over her car title to that defendant, helping him to flee. Ray County is northeast of Kansas City. A judge immediately removed Johnston pending the full lawsuit.
St. Louis's most famous sportscasting voice officially packing his bags. Joe Buck relocating to Denver, the hometown of his wife, Michelle. The lifelong local and KMOX alum tells Fox 2 it's time to try something different.
I can drive home blindfolded to this house or in Ladue or in Clayton or in Chesterfield or whatever. I've been driving these streets since I was 16. I've been on them since I was 0. I think kind of changing it up, growing up a little bit, getting out of my little nest here in St. Louis, but always being a part of this community, whether it's St. Louis Children's Hospital, different charities I've been involved in, my mom being here, my sister, my girls were born here. And when they come home for holidays, they come to St. Louis. My boys were born here. I'm a St. Louisan, and I'm going to be a St. Louisan living in Denver, but coming back to St. Louis a lot.
Before heading west, Buck found himself right in the middle of a massive Taylor Swift-Travis Kelce wedding. He joked he ended up sitting next to Scarlett Johansson and directly in front of Brad Pitt.
Well, la-di-da.
Just another day at the office.
Yeah, no kidding. You know what's interesting? I have not seen any photos of the wedding. Are they ever going to release them?
I think that's by design.
I know, but don't you think I understand wanting to control it and keep the paparazzi out, but why would you
I don't know.
She let everybody get so invested in her wedding planning, and then nobody gets to see the pictures?
They couldn't have phones there, so it's not like anybody snapped anything privately. There was no paparazzi.
But I'm sure there was a professional photographer. So
maybe
where are
one
those?
day.
I know. I'm actually curious to see them.
Maybe on their
now
50th wedding anniversary.
Maybe. It is 7:56.
Let's take a break.
Good idea.
Hey, Tom, what are you doing on that Amendment 4?
You know we fought for our freedom and rights. I'm not giving them away without a fight.
4 takes them?
That's exactly what 4 does. For over 100 years, Missouri voters have used our constitutional power to act when the politicians refused. I'll be darned if I'm voting to pass on less freedom and power to my kids.
It doesn't 4 kill majority rule?
Yep, creates minority rule, where just 5% of statewide voters in one district can block any citizen-led reform, making it nearly impossible to pass citizen-led ballot measures.
That's just dumb.
And when the politicians refuse to act, we've used citizen-led ballot measures to pass some big stuff, like lobbyist reforms, term limits for career politicians, and outlawing tax hikes without voter approval.
I'm not surrendering my power and rights to a bunch of politicians and lobbyists. I'm no on Amendment 4.
Hard no on 4.
Pay 4 buttons or inch per care governance.
You're in charge of ordering boxes. Small boxes, really big boxes. You're in charge of tape, labels, mailers, bubble wrap, extra bubble wrap. Just for fun. You're in charge of warehouse cleaning and safety supplies. Good thing there's Uline. Thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline makes it easy because you already do enough. Uline, we warehouse for you.
And the match is about to begin.
Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight.
What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field.
It's a dog. Well, they could do with extra players.
She's going for the ball.
Are front paws hands or feet?
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, bone cancer. Dr. Angela Herbie.
New pain that's persistent and unexplained, or any lump that's bigger than the size of a golf ball should raise concern and trigger someone to talk to their doctor. And if you notice a lump, this is especially true if that lump is starting to grow and change size quickly, as in over weeks.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
Time for us to check in with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, going north has been the busiest stretch of highway this morning, Debbie. Northbound 270, a lot better, though. There's slow traffic as you approach 44 in pockets through Doherty Ferry. It opens up through Manchester. Just a few slowdowns. I'm noticing a jam, though, on northbound Lindbergh, beginning right near the Thomas Jefferson School, right around Robin Road. And it looks like it actually may be shut down, closed right now, Lindbergh at Sunset Terrace, but the jam goes up to Edian Park, so you may want to avoid that area. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday, July 17th. I'm Debbie Monterey.
I'm Sean Malone. Former U.S. Congresswoman Cori Bush is under scrutiny by the Missouri Attorney General. I've got that story coming up.
Josh Hawley accuses the Postal Service of stonewalling his investigation into why your mail is delayed. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire. Very humid today with clouds and sun. We'll also have a spotty thunderstorm, mainly in the afternoon and evening, high 90.
Hancock and Kelly will pick things up after the news, and we're expecting to hear more about President Trump's speech last night and any fallout from that. Stay with us here on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the Voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. The city of Philadelphia has declared a code purple air quality day as a result of smoke from wildfires burning in Canada. That means it's unhealthy for all residents, and ABC's Matt Rivers says the air quality is impacting tens of millions.
From the Midwest on down to the Mid-Atlantic, a third straight day of air quality alerts.
When you walk outside, it burns, it stings a little bit.
Air quality advisories in more than a dozen states. Apocalyptic scenes from Chicago to New York.
As the ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran breaks down, gas prices are ramping back up. AAA's national average now sits at just under $4 a gallon for regular unleaded, diesel at roughly $5 a gallon, according to Gas Buddy. President Trump said he's declassified documents that show foreign countries have accessed the U.S. election system. The president's own intelligence agencies have previously said there was no foreign interference in his 2020 loss to Joe Biden. This is ABC News. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche met Thursday with several survivors of deceased sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Following the meeting, one of these survivors told ABC News she's even more confident that senators should vote against confirming Blanche as the Attorney General on a full-time basis, describing him as abrasive and condescending. There was a chaotic scene Thursday in West Hollywood after a major water main break, says ABC's Trevor Ault.
A 36-inch pipe ruptured, ripping open a giant sinkhole and sending river rapids racing down the Sunset Strip. Dozens of city buses left swamped and hundreds of cars feared damaged or destroyed. Mike and Stacy woke up to their apartment garage flooded and Mike's new car underwater.
Do you have any hope that it's salvageable, or you just...
I'm going to guess it's not.
How many cars would be in here?
I think about 50.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But officials say the pipe that burst is more than 100 years old.
I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
It is 80 degrees with mostly sunny skies right now in downtown St. Louis at 8:02. I'm Debbie Monterey. A former St. Louis Congresswoman's conduct being looked into by the Missouri Attorney General's office.
That is a PAC that I cannot speak to as a candidate.
Responding to a post on X of Bush declining to address questionable payments to herself from her PACs, Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says, quote, very concerning. We are looking into this. The questionable payments, according to public records, Bush's political action committees, Politivus Action PAC and Politivus LPAC, have paid tens of thousands of dollars to Cori Bush and her husband Courtney Merritt since Bush left office in January of 2025. Questionable payments to Bush's husband has been the subject of prior investigations. During her time in Congress, Bush was investigated for regular campaign payments made to her husband for security purposes. One of those investigations would be dismissed by the Office of Congressional Ethics. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
St. Louis City Police say they found a woman's body overnight in the O'Fallon neighborhood. It was discovered around 1:45 on East Lee Avenue. No word yet on what may have led to her death. What's worse, an abandoned, flooded quarry in your neighborhood or a decade of dump trucks filling it in? That's the debate right now in South County. A developer is asking St. Louis County for permission to dump 3 million cubic yards of dirt, concrete, and asphalt into an old rock quarry in Limay. The company says filling that site will stop illegal dumping and fix a long-standing safety hazard. But neighbors living nearby aren't buying it.
I've been alive my whole life. What's wrong with the quarry now? It's been sitting there my entire life. Not that many people die. Not even a handful. It's been run down. It's been neglected. Absolutely. But there's nothing wrong with it in its current condition. Just needs upkeep.
Opponents raised alarms about potential groundwater contamination and dust if the fill operation is approved. The Planning Commission is expected to make a final decision at its August meeting. Missouri has approved a new 5-year transportation plan that includes billions of dollars for roads, bridges, and other infrastructure projects across the state. MoDOT Assistant Chief Engineer Mark Crokin tells MissouriNet several major projects stand out.
$3.4 billion worth of projects along I-70. A lot of those have already been awarded, but we have another $1.3 billion planned in the next fiscal year. So we're making headway in the Springfield area. I-44 has a lot of big projects.
The 5-year plan outlines $13 billion in transportation investments across Missouri, including highways, bridges, transit, aviation, rail, and waterway projects. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley escalating his fight with the U.S. Postal Service. We get that update from KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
Hawley says the Postmaster General has ignored his June 24th request for documents about mail service failures in Missouri, and he's now expanding his investigation to take a look at the Postal Service's use of outside consultants. Hawley says the U.S. Postal Service hired a firm from New York that is known for restructuring corporations and was once hired to restructure the St. Louis public schools. That, as Missouri mail delivery continues to lag, he wants to know whether that firm has been asked to look at cutting rural delivery or closing rural post offices.
And there's a planetarium celebration at the Science Center because it's reopening to the public tomorrow after undergoing major renovations. Planetary manager Will Snyder explains you'll be able to see real-time images of outer space.
So this system does pull from all sorts of national and international databases to give us new information. And in addition to satellite and climate data about our planet, it does also download in near real time new images from, say, the James Webb Space Telescope or other missions, so that whenever we make a new discovery as humans, we can talk about it here at the planetarium.
The upgrades make this the largest and most advanced hybrid planetarium in the country. A celebration at Tower Grove Park to celebrate the completion of 3 major milestones: an event support building with a Rockwell beer garden, bathrooms, and a bike repair station, the director's croquet garden, and the restoration of 4 historic pavilions in the park that date back to the 1870s. Greater St. Louis Inc.'s Sarah Arnosky-Coe says the improvements help the neighborhood, businesses, and the whole region.
Because these improvements not only serve the park visitors, but also the broader regional bike network. The event support building and Rockwell Beer Garden and the bike station all create an important trailhead or finish line, depending on where you start and end, for the Tower Grove connector that Bill mentioned.
The FDA has approved a new pill to slash cholesterol levels. We get that from KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer.
Clinical trials have shown the new pill from Merck called Lipfendra can lower cholesterol levels far below what can be achieved with statins. Fox News senior medical analyst Dr. Mark Siegel says this is the first non-injectable medication that works by blocking a liver protein called PCSK9, which limits the body's ability to clear cholesterol from the blood.
The studies show that these drugs, the PCSK9 drugs, actually reverse plaque. You may have plaque in your coronary arteries, and it may start to go away on this drug. And it also brings down another bad guy that we're worried about, lipoprotein A, which also correlates with heart disease, and it brings it down.
The pill will be for patients with artery-clogging cholesterol that persists even after taking statins. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
It is now 8:08. We'll take a look at the roadways and the weather next.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand.
Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's get a check on those roads with Captain Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's been a pretty easygoing Friday morning, Michael. I mean, North 270 was the only place we had a big jam highway-wise, and it's completely thinned out from 44 up through Manchester. It looks great. All the other interstates on the Missouri side, you're good to go. We do see a lot more road work, though. There are delays both directions now on 5570. Eastbound is from about Exchange. That's just east of 64, most of the way into 111. And really, it's sort of pockets all the way into Black Lane, because 111 to Black Lane is heavy as well. And westbound 5570 jams at 255, and that westbound backup goes about midway into 111 as well. That is the only interstate backups we have. There's a little slowdown westbound 255, Route 3 Columbia, and I'm still seeing these restrictions. It looks like Lindbergh is still closed right around Sunset Terrace. That's about midway between Robin and Edian Park, and there's a jam northbound Lindbergh through the area. Southbound looks like it's getting through. It's hard for me to tell. It looks like there's restrictions possibly both ways, but the only real jam, like I said, Robin up to Edian Park, and it looks like it shut down midway between those 2 points, so just be advised of that. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Will bring clouds and sun along with a spotty thunderstorm, mainly for the afternoon and evening. It'll be quite humid with a high of 90. Still warm and humid, low 76 tonight, then sun and some clouds. Still very humid, high 92 tomorrow. Wildfire smoke can reduce air quality and cause haziness with a high of 90 on Sunday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Time for the Friday edition of Hancock and Kelly.
You two belong together.
John Hancock, Michael Kelly on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Good morning and happy Friday, John Hancock.
Yeah, we've been given a full hour today. Let's make it count.
Yeah. Your evening last night, great, was it?
Lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Were you able to see the President of the United States address the country?
I got the highlights.
Yeah, bits and pieces. Some of the networks covered it. Many of the others didn't. It was expected, and true to form, the president spoke about election integrity, but most importantly, he wanted to talk about what happened in 2020. He continues to say this narrative as it relates to, that the election was stolen from him and that there's millions of votes out there. There's illegal voters on the rolls. It was a litany of Donald Trump's best hits for MAGA listeners.
I wonder, because I've not seen polling data on it. I would assume that a healthy majority of the public knows that we don't have widespread election fraud in this country, but maybe not. I mean, because I have not seen polling data, but I do know the administration of elections. I ran for Secretary of State in Missouri a couple times 100 years ago, and I've been fairly involved and conversant with election authorities across the state of Missouri. And I know how elections are administered in this country. And it's just simply, there are fraudulent votes cast in every election in very small numbers. Some of them unintentional, some of them intentional. But to say that there's a widespread election fraud that takes place is just not true.
Well, the other thing that's confounding to me is the Republican Party I understood and grew up with believed that the federal government should have a limited role in everything.
Yeah.
Elections are the most decentralized thing that we do as a society.
Yeah.
All of the elections are run at a state level, and they're forward at a local level by each county that's run under the state jurisdiction. And the federal government really has nothing to do with elections. It's that we facilitate federal elections through the states. And here you have a Republican president arguing for the federalization of elections, which is contrary not only to conservative thought, but arguably is I would argue would make the vulnerability of elections even heightened, because you would have central areas of reporting, et cetera. Well, you kind of get my point there?
Yeah, and the only election in this country that crosses state boundaries is the presidential election. Every other election is contained within the state, and that's why the founders wanted the elections to be run in the states. And, this system that we have developed is a very good one with multiple layers of checks on it. So good, in fact, that when the Soviet Union broke up, 30 years ago, and all these countries began adopting democratic norms, it was the United States that went in and helped them administer their elections.
Many people think that the president's laying the foundation to essentially intervene in the upcoming November elections. Obviously, there's thoughts that it's not going to go well for the Republicans. Of course it's not. History has shown us that will be the case.
Yeah.
Many people think that this is, people are talking, John, that the president wants to interject the federal government, bring in federal troops, et cetera, and potentially even stop elections in some states. He's still smarting over the fact that he lost in Georgia. He's asserting they did illegal things, although he's the only person who called up and said on recording to a Republican elected official, I want you to go find these votes, a violation of the law. Do you think that's where this president's headed, is that he wants to be able to inject federal agents into elections across this country? Because he really only talked about blue states having this problem.
Right. I hope not. And I think not. But, anything's possible. But the thing about the midterm here is that the Democrats are going to win the House. That's a foregone conclusion. Not a foregone conclusion that they take the Senate. In fact, I think it's more likely than not that the Republicans hold the Senate. They'll lose a couple of seats maybe. But at the end of the day, this is going to be what it's going to be. It's a midterm election when one party controls all the levers of government, which, by the way, is another compelling argument that elections aren't massively fraudulent. Republicans win in 2016. Democrats win in 2018. They win in 2020. Republicans win in 22. Republicans win in 24. I mean, if elections were fraudulent, you wouldn't have this back and forth swing like we've had over the last couple of decades.
Yeah, and there's so many holes to be poked into that argument. Is it wrong for me to be frustrated that the President of the United States chose to have a national address last night litigating an election that was 2 elections ago, that all the problems from his perception, seemed to have happened when he was in charge of everything? It was his own people who fell down on the job, yet we're in the midst of what? We're in our 3rd month with this war in Iran where Americans have lost their lives. We're spending billions upon billions upon billions of dollars.
We're in our 5th month.
5th month. We've got gas prices going through the roof. We've yet to have the president even acknowledge through an address that this is going on, what the ultimate goal and solution is here.
Yeah, this is the most unusual war, certainly in my lifetime. With very little, you think about us going into Kuwait back in the early 1990s and the President Bush addressing the nation. You think about us going into Afghanistan after 9/11 and then ultimately going into Iraq. And the presidents have always laid out the predicate of why we're doing it, what we're doing, and kept us informed of what's going on. This thing in Iran has been unlike any war. Heck, even Vietnam, President Johnson eventually cost him his job, but he was, actively informing the public, not always accurately, about what was going on there.
Well, whether it be Iran or whatever comes up, the Republicans in the United States Senate seem to jump in line behind Donald Trump. This latest speech coming out of right field, from my perception, do you anticipate that we're going to see all the senators line up and suddenly have the same concerns that Donald Trump has, simply because that's a requirement of being a part of his party?
You're talking about this Save America Act?
Yep.
I think most of them will, yeah. But I don't know how they're going to get around the cloture, the need for 60 votes to pass something that's not in the budget. So, I don't think it's going anywhere.
That's John Hancock. I'm Michael Kelly. We'll take you to the top of the hour where we'll be joined by Chris and Amy for the Chris and Amy Show.
Yeah, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about yet another of my predictions. It seems to be coming true. But first, let's get a check on the roads. The Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center, Captain Roger Brand.
Well, John, it's a pretty easygoing morning unless you're on the Illinois side right now. This traffic reports the service of McKelvey Homes. We have roadwork delays out there, both directions on 5570 eastbound. It's running 203 all the way in through to about Black Lane, and westbound 5570 is jammed at 255, and it goes most of the way into 111, so delays both ways there. Now, other than that, the rest of the interstates on both sides of the river are quiet. I'm still seeing these restrictions and delays on Lindbergh northbound, Robin Road up to Edian Park, and it looks like it's closed northbound at Sunset Terrace, so there's a jam there northbound Lindbergh. You may want to avoid it. You may want to take Sappington or just North 270. North 270 is wide open from 55 all the way up to 64. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms. When McKelvey builds something, they do it right. Visit McKelvey Homes to schedule a tour at Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I think this is going to be a strange season for real estate. Just kind of feel it in my gut. What can people do apropos of their mortgage to put themselves in a better position to get that house?
You know what, Dave, that's a great question. There's a bidding wars that are going to happen this spring. You want to get the house. This is how you're going to make things better. Number one, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. That means you can go into our portal and generate the letter and edit it for any amount you want up to the amount you're approved without without chasing the loan officer. Number 2, the Bagel loan. No closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. It's a Bagel. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Add that money you would normally pay onto your bid and beat the other offers out. And you know what? The third thing is we can close fast. 10 days. They're going to look away at the other offers because most lenders take as much as 30 days to get done.
You can call or text Stewie at his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS 226715.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
John, it was earlier this week that we had the home run derby where our own Jordan Walker stunned the world in probably one of the most thrilling home run derbies that I've seen, even since back when Mark McGwire and the team was out there. I notice you're sniffling. You have some thoughts on it.
Well, you know, I don't like to talk, Michael.
That's something you say quite often.
You know, I believe the first week of April, Walker had a rough spring, you know.
Right.
Got off to a quick start in the season. And I said on this very microphone that Jordan Walker was going to be the National League most valuable player. In April, I said that.
Yes.
Here we sit
Was your tongue in your cheek then?
No.
No, you really believe it.
Here we sit on the 17th of July, and it looks very much to me like my prediction was accurate.
Well, it really was spectacular, the whole thing. Did you get a chance to watch the home run derby?
I did.
Stayed up till the very end?
Yeah, and the pressure cooker he was under bodes very well for big moments in the postseason, which are coming for this ball club. Maybe not this year, but certainly in the near-term future.
Yeah, it's definitely a team that's showing that it's got some spark. We also got the news that J.J. Weatherholtz gets signed to a contract.
8 years.
Yeah, we have talked about this team being a team that's going to homegrown build talent.
Yeah.
Did Jordan Walker make a step towards his argument on why he maybe ought to be signed to a long-term deal?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tricky situation because, you know, Walker, because he's been in the league for 3+ years, he's not that far away from free agency. And, you know, when you're 27, 28 years old, becoming a free in the prime of your career, if he keeps up this pace, he's looking at a $500,000, $600 million 10-year contract.
Wow.
And that's probably prices the Cardinals out of that market. So the incentive would be to get him signed sooner than that. But if he makes it to free agency, and he's this good, I don't know that the Cardinals are going to be able to afford him. So it's going to be very fascinating to see how they handle the negotiations and whether Walker, you know, wants to stay here. I hope so.
The eyes of the world have been on the United States, not just what's happening in the White House, but what's happening on the soccer pitch.
Oh.
And we see the World Cup.
They're still playing that thing?
Yeah, it's coming to a conclusion on Sunday. The President of the United States will be in New York City with the FIFA. I guess he'll be there in all his adoration of getting the FIFA Peace Prize, but he'll be handing out the cup to whoever wins it on Sunday. The world's greatest soccer player, Lionel Messi, made it to the finals.
Is it Lionel or Lionel?
Well, whatever. We'll just call him Messi. Winds up making it to the final. Argentina will be playing Spain. Will you be sitting down at 2 o'clock on Sunday to watch this Battle of the Titans?
Well, unfortunately, the paint will be drying in my family room, and I'm going to have to stick around and watch that.
Well, then you may want to check out on Saturday. Of course, they have the third and fourth place games taking place.
Why do that?
Well, it's been a successful World Cup. It's been good for the United States.
A third place game. Whoop-de-doo.
Total Information with Hancock and Kelly rolls on after this on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
We are on the biggest stage in the world right now, and you know I am talking about soccer. The whole world is paying attention, and FanDuel has decided to change the game. And as you know, if you bet soccer, that sometimes your player gets subbed out, and then what happens? Your bet goes with them. Well, FanDuel says we have a better way to do it. That's not happening anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues with the substitute. So you are still in it until the final whistle. Just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started now. I've been telling you about this app for many, many months. I love using it. It's easy to use. All the information you need is right there. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
Roger Brands and the Overhead Door Company, St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got roadwork delays on the Illinois side, Michael. This traffic reports the service of Steve Butts and the entire Crawford Butts family. Eastbound 5570 delays from 203 most of the way to Black Lane, and westbound 5570 from 255 most of the way to 111's backed up. Eastbound 64 passing the 70 interchange. The ramp there continuing on eastbound 64 looks a little congested, and eastbound 70 is a little slow at Packers Avenue. Lindbergh doesn't look as bad northbound, but there's still a backup but approaching Etienne Park, and it looks like there's Lindbergh is still shut down south of there at about Sunset Terrace, so just be advised. I can't see if that's a utility issue or what the problem is, but it looks like there's still a backup, and you may just want to avoid Lindbergh. Like I said, North 270 and South 270 between 44 and Gravelly look great. Eastbound 30 is kind of heavy up the hill from Mauer to 270, by the way. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, Steve Butts and everyone at Crawford Butts Insurance wish everyone a safe and joyful summer. Proudly serving the community for generations. Happy 250th, America. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today will bring clouds and sun along with a spotty thunderstorm, mainly for the afternoon and evening. It'll be quite humid with a high of 90. Still warm and humid, low 76 tonight, then sun and some clouds. Still very humid, high 92 tomorrow. Wildfire smoke can reduce air quality and cause haziness with a high of 90 on Sunday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
And it's time for our weekly visit with travel expert Peter Greenberg. Peter, welcome to KMOX. It looks like my vacation plans to Dubai might have to be put on hold.
You're not kidding. The airspace continues to be opened and closed depending on who's attacking whom, whether the United States is attacking Iran or Iran is retaliating by targeting places like Dubai, Doha, and Bahrain. The good news is that they're not closing the airspace for long periods of time anymore, so the disruptions are being minimized, but they're disruptions nonetheless. And what you're seeing worldwide is that the airspace that requires the flight overs is so much bigger now, the airlines have to, guess what, burn more fuel, longer flights, and of course, you don't want to hear this news, higher airfares.
Yeah, are those higher airfares just across the world, or are they right here domestically as well?
Oh, they're right here domestically, and they're not going to go anywhere south anytime soon. The CEOs of Delta, United, and Southwest have already said, even if fuel prices come down, airfares will stay high because each of them is confronted with a $1 billion increase in their fuel budget this year alone.
Man, that's crazy. Peter Greenberg is our guest. People are vacationing. It's summer. It's vacation time. A lot of people here at KMOX are on vacation. That's why we're sitting here talking to you today. What are folks doing out there while they're vacationing?
Well, a lot of them are thinking about relocating entirely. They're using their summer vacation trip to basically test drive another location. And we've got the latest research that we'll be talking about which states in America are getting the most people moving to them. That'd be South Carolina, Idaho, North Carolina, Texas, and Florida. And then, of course, where are they moving from? The states that are losing the most people, California, Hawaii, Vermont, West Virginia, and New Mexico. And a lot of it has to do with, of course, cost of living and affordability.
Wow. And before we let you go, tell me how we can save 30% on our airline tickets.
Well, it's a thing you can do when you're not doing it online, meaning so many people who are listening to us right now will make their airline reservations online. Let's say they want to do a round-trip ticket from St. Louis to Hawaii. Well, that's going to require a stop, right? Probably Los Angeles, San Francisco, et cetera, even Chicago. But the ticket is priced as a round-trip ticket from St. Louis to Hawaii, much more expensive sometimes. Instead, buy two round-trip tickets, St. Louis, Los Angeles, St. Louis, and a second one, Los Angeles, Hawaii, Los Angeles. You could often save anywhere from 20 to 30%. That doesn't just apply to Hawaii. I just gave you that as an example. But you can't necessarily do that online. You got to build it up yourself on individual flights. But I think that's worth it if you can save 20 to 30%.
He is the travel expert, Peter Greenberg, kind enough to join us here on KMOX. We step aside now, and Total Information rolls on after this.
When Cardinals fans want to talk baseball, they turn to the Gas House Gang. Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Miklasz bring insights, analysis, and opinions that fuel the conversation. And every Tuesday, Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol pulls back the curtain on his decisions and his team's performance. The Gas House Gang is the sports show sports fans can't miss. Hear it weekdays at noon on your home for the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I love a girls' weekend, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin, thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
You can usually find me in the kitchen, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm still in the mix with Skyrizi to treat my joint symptoms.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe at 4 months.
Or if you're an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Time now for the Bloomberg Money Report, sponsored by Eamon Kantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. A coalition of states is challenging the government's recent deal with Live Nation. They're asking a federal judge to open up the details of the settlement, arguing it may not do enough to rein in the concert giant's market power. The Justice Department pulled out of the case a week into the antitrust trial in March, striking a last-minute deal that allowed Live Nation to keep Ticketmaster. Shares of Netflix falling in early trading after forecasting a second consecutive quarter of slowing sales growth, doing little to ease investor anxiety about the streaming giant's future. That's putting pressure on the markets. Today, NASDAQ futures are leading the losses. And blue-collar influencers are working to rebrand manual labor as aspirational, lucrative, and secure by making content about their salaries and daily routines. The U.S. has an acute shortage of manual laborers, with the manufacturing and construction sectors struggling to replace an aging workforce. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
For State Senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering knows what a hard day's work looks like because he's done it his whole life.
I like Mike. He's a dad. He knows what our families are up against.
Mike Deering's a businessman. He knows what red tape actually costs.
I like Mike because Mike Deering stands with President Trump. Secure the border, cut our taxes, put Missouri first.
I'm Mike Deering. Career politicians spend more and tax more while your family gets squeezed. I'll lower your taxes, keep your money in your pockets, and cut government waste so deep it'll make the politicians squeal.
Mike Deering, farmer, small business owner, dad, conservative. I like Mike.
I like Mike.
I like Mike. For State Senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering. On Tuesday, August 4th, vote Republican Mike Deering for State Senate.
Make common sense conservative leadership common again.
Paid for by friends of Mike Deering. Megan Kaiser, Treasurer.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Look over there. It's Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, looks like there's still backups and maybe restrictions on Lindbergh right now, Michael. This traffic reports the Service of Financial and Tax Strategies. I'm still seeing delays. Not a solid jam, but it's still pretty heavy on northbound Lindbergh from Robin Road up to Edian Park, and it looks like it may be shut down at Sunset Terrace here. I'm seeing a gap in the traffic completely at that point, so just be advised. 270 both directions between 44 and Gravois in great shape. Sappington doesn't look bad either as alternate routes to avoid Lindbergh, whatever that problem may be. Eastbound 30, Mauer Industrial at 270 is heavy on the Illinois side. Eastbound 64, 3rd Street to the 70 split is backed up. Then eastbound 5570 jams 203 most of the way to Black Lane. Westbound 5570 coming off the 255 ramps most of the way to 111 is bumper to bumper right now as well. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
John, you sit down, you watch the television, you listen to the radio, you look at your social media feed, you're inundated with political ads. Why? Because the elections are just around the corner.
Yeah, a little over 2 weeks away.
Lots of talk about career politicians. Career politicians. Boy, they could there be a worse name out there than a career politician?
You know, it has become definitely a negative. I actually think, having been in this business my whole life, that we would do well to have more career politicians. People who are, you know, every job that exists out. If you're a meat cutter, you've got to be able to precisely cut, you know, fillets and do what you do. Politicians is a skill set, especially a legislative politician. And there is a skill set there of bringing people together, collaborating on ideas and issues, and getting legislation across the threshold. And I don't think we have very many, enough, put it that way, skilled legislators in this country anymore. Term limits has been a problem. Career politician designations have been a problem. And I mean, it's inarguable that our legislative system at the federal level just simply is not working.
Well, and no doubt about it. And, you know, we talk about, remember the good old days back when politicians used to have a beer together, et cetera? You want to know why? Because it was their career.
Yeah.
They were forced to sit and work together and find, guess what? Compromise. We've demonized that word compromise. We've demonized politicians. We've demonized people participating in public service.
Yeah.
And I think it's part of the reason we're seeing the chaos, the disruption, and the disgust that most people have. Speaking of career politicians, we lost one this week in Lindsey Graham. So just a shocking news that popped up earlier this week that he had died of a massive heart attack.
Only 71 years old.
Only 71 years old. Now, he may have been the quintessential politician. If you go back, when Lindsey Graham first arrived on the scene, it was about the time of the Gingrich revolution. Revolution.
Yeah, he got elected to the House.
He became one of the focal points of the Republican Party impeaching Bill Clinton at the time.
Yep.
He then evolved to becoming a man that was focused on forest policy. He had that friendship with John McCain.
Yep.
And
he was a colonel.
Yeah, in the United States Air Force.
Yeah.
Then winds up becoming part of the face of Donald Trump's regime. There's an example of a career politician, a man who evolved over time, found a way to get things done. I didn't care for his policy. I didn't care for his side of the aisle, but I appreciated his skill set.
Well, and he did navigate the changing dynamics. I mean, you think of somebody that comes to power with Gingrich, the contract with America, the sort of movement conservative, that defined the Republican Party at that time, that then evolved over time to this populist movement under Donald Trump. And Lindsey Graham successfully navigated all of that. And yeah, I would say he had considerable political skills.
If you are a regular listener of this show, you've heard us talk about how all the focus on elections seems to be on November, but it's a fool's errand because nothing really seems to matter in November anymore, John. And that's the case here regionally, as when just the first Tuesday in August, we'll be voting on who's going to run St. Louis County and who's going to run St. Charles County.
Yep. Both of those county executive primaries are up. The Democratic primary in St. Louis County.
Who will be the county executive, whoever wins that race.
Well, that's certainly been the case for the last 40 years. And in St. Charles County, it's whoever wins this Republican primary is going to win in November.
Let's talk it through. In St. Charles County, we've got a three-way race. We've got former mayor of Lake St. Louis, Jason Law, who's running, also a policeman here in St. Louis County.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Also running is Bill Eigel, the MAGA-style, what did they call themselves down in Jefferson City?
The Conservative Freedom
Caucus. Yep. Which really brought the Missouri legislature to a stop for 3 years, as well as Steve Ailman, the several decade-long county executive from St. Charles, all going at each other.
Running for his sixth term.
And look, it's all Republicans, so none of them are my cup of tea. but I do like the stability of Steve Ailman. And, at a time where St. Louis seems to be spiraling down a drain, Steve Ailman's been a steady force and has made that county work.
Well, it has been a drama-free county. I think there's a lot to recommend for Steve Ailman or Jason Law if you're looking for a fresh face who's got a record. He was the mayor of Lake St. Louis, and he reduced taxes. He reduced crime as the mayor of that city in St. Charles County. So, yeah, some good choices there for the voters.
Then you look across the river in St. Louis County, the largest county in the state of Missouri. You have Angela Mosley, a former state senator, who's running, an African-American female from North County, as well as State Senator Brian Williams, who's running from North County as well, also the U-City area, and then County Assessor Jake Zimmerman in a three-way primary. Seems to me this one seems to be a two-horse race between Brian Williams and Jake Zimmerman. What do you make of this as all of them are vying to take the spot of maybe the most controversial politician we've had in quite some time, Sam Page?
Yeah, he's been divisive, Page has, with the county council and with the county as a whole. I'm really interested to see how this race turns out. I am a little surprised, as are you, I think, that we've not really heard more from these candidates in terms of advertising.
Well, and they both have money. I mean, both of them have close to $1 million. It seems to be a very sleepy campaign for arguably the most important race on the ballot in the entire state of Missouri. It will be interesting to see how this plays out. I called it a two-horse race between Brian Williams and Jake Zimmerman, but you make an accurate point to me all the time that the female perspective in the Democratic primary is not something to be judged.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth a lot of points. And speaking of points, we're going to talk about Kalshi and Polymarket when we come back right here on KMOX.
Here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at LedermanLaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
John, Cardinal baseball returns tonight after the All-Star break. We're out in Arizona. Game time, 8:40 p.m., so about a 7:30 pregame right here at KMOX.
Yeah.
You can listen to all the goodness and even wager on the games if you live here in Missouri or Illinois.
Yeah.
Because it's legal to bet. I'm not a bettor myself, are you?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't participate in it, mainly because I just don't trust myself to the easy of being able to bet. It's just not something I want to get going on.
Yeah, I think we, as a society, we will come to rue the fact that we've now turned our cell phones into casinos.
Well, and we're not only wagering on sports. I don't know if you saw this. There's these two different kinds of wagering out there, Polymarket and Kalshi, which allow you to bet on
anything.
And There was a gentleman yesterday, not a gentleman, a guy that wound up being busted from the White House who was running the president's teleprompter, who was betting on how many times the president would say this and say that. He had inside knowledge.
Yeah.
I also saw a story earlier this weekend that the Poly Market's going to start you let to bet on how many delayed flights there's going to be at certain airports. This just seems ridiculous to me. I guess I understand the desire to bet on sports and maybe even who's going to win a presidential election. But all this other quirkiness, it seems to me, is ripe for fraud and problems.
And corruption. I mean, there's no question about it. You know, I even think a lot of these prop bets in sports, I mean, you had the case of Emmanuel Clase, the relief pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians, who would bet that his first pitch would have his friends and family bet that his first pitch would be a ball, and he'd go out
and throw a ball.
And when you've got that kind of incentive to rig a system, you know, you're going to have corruption. And I think you're seeing these. And how these things became legal, I don't know. Kalshi and Poly Market. And this rush to legalize gambling in sports ultimately is going to do damage to sport. We just had another case of a basketball player rigging the system.
But at least with sports, there's a way to regulate it and keep an eye on it. We saw these prediction markets had some of these troops that were betting on whether or not we were going to invade certain countries or bomb places. They had pre-hand knowledge, and they also could wind up being a factor in keeping something from happening. I just don't see how that makes sense. And maybe the Supreme Court, who wound up opening up this idea that you could bet on everything, could have some restrictions and keep it to just sports, because I don't see the positive outcomes that come from all this other wagering.
Well, it's not good. And we know that gambling is an addictive behavior for a lot of people. Not for everybody, but for a lot of people. And we know that gambling has destroyed families and had resulted in businesses being stolen from by employees to cover a gambling habit. So there's a lot of societal ills that come from this now.
But they exist also with drugs and alcohol and so many other things. And look, I'm not some prude. I think if you want to be able to wager, you ought to be able to wager. Fortunately, I know my own self-limits. But it just seems to me these prediction markets aren't wagering. It's in the traditional sense. It's just something beyond that. It's a step further.
Yeah, and to the extent that, you know, as an individual, you have any control over something that's going to happen, and then you bet on it because you know what the outcome's going to be, that's got to be illegal. And it really, I think the penalties for if you get caught doing that, I think the penalties ought to be at such a level that it discourages others from doing so.
Yeah, and I think it ought to be kind of like what they did to Pete Rose, which is, you know, the ultimate penalty. That's the only way you're going to be able to keep people from not doing it, and that is that they can't participate. Hey, what do you say we make some predictions ourselves right now?
All right, let's do it.
Let's talk about the United States Senate. Will the Democrats take control of the United States Senate, John Hancock? I say probably not.
Yep, I say no. I think they net 2, maybe 3 seats, which will not be enough to get them there.
Will the Democrats take control of the United States House of Representatives? I say yes, they will.
And I agree, they will. And I'm going to say the gain is going to be 18 to 22 seats.
Probably a good prediction. Statewide here in Missouri, we have 2 huge ballot initiatives that will be on. Ballot amendment number 4 that's going to be considered by the voters would change the amendment process in the state of Missouri. Lots of money being spent on both sides of that.
There's no money on the yes side.
I'm on the. That's right. I'm confusing them.
Right.
I think Amendment 4 will go down, and I think it should go down.
Yeah, it's gonna go down.
Okay, Amendment 5, that's being pushed by our own Governor Mike Kehoe, who wants to do away with the state income tax. Lots of ads on both sides of that. You would think that a lot of people would like no less taxes, but maybe they're starting to see through it, and therefore I think Amendment 5 will also lose.
Well, it's a tax cut for almost every Missourian, so I hope it passes. But the fact that they've spent a couple $1 million on the no side, historically, that's not been good for a yes vote. And anytime you spend money on a no side of a ballot question, it usually succeeds.
Hey, it's Groundhog Day. There's a rematch taking place in North St. Louis between Cori Bush and Wesley Bell for the 1st Congressional District. Wesley Bell, of course, upsetting the Cori Bush. I think Wesley Bell holds that seat.
I think so, but I won't be shocked if Cori Bush prevails. That's Michael Kelly. I'm John Hancock. Chris and Amy are next right here on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Lenseek.
Your daily coffee habit might be doing wonders for your liver. Researchers with Cedars-Sinai tracked over 350,000 adults and found that coffee drinkers had significantly lower risks of cirrhosis and liver cancer. MRI scans showed less fat and inflammation in the liver, and the benefits held up even for decaf. Doctors say moderate coffee drinking, around 3 to 4 cups a day, is the sweet spot. I'm Margie Schaefer.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to Lenseek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. Lenseek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities